just playing a whole bunch of everything, yo. You know, but it's really not formatted. It's almost like in the spirit of a versus, I guess.
Yeah, I was wondering, is that where it's
Yeah.
okay.
Digging into each other's catalogs.
Yeah, but it was dope. So yeah, I'm gonna be late, but I'm gonna be there.
I'm excited. Well, we're gonna make a day of it, so like I plan to get there. I plan to be at the venue by 7 or like even earlier. Like I'm trying to politic, man.
I would, man. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
The last stream, like Ninth Wonder was here, Skills VA came, Diamond D was here.
Diamond D, oh shit.
Who else? I think Crisis was here. Like it was kind of the who's who. Yeah. Like Knots. Like you just forget all the dopeness Knots is responsible for, until he started playing.
He's playing them back.
Oh,
yeah. Like, that one, like, yeah. He's crazy.
Yeah, he's one of the sneakiest producers having hidden hits. What's that, Panda?
I was going to say on the subject, and not just quite funny. There's a joint of his that it's basically I stumbled across a library sample the other day and I flipped it and it's a sample that he's used on another joint, but I'm going to go into that. So. I remember coming across a sample and going, Knots effed with this. But the way I took it in a different direction, so it was all right. So
you did. I'm sure you did, man.
Send me that, man. No, really. I've been greedy enough,
Yeah. This one's for the Where Do I Go From Here reproduced version.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yo, we are live, fellas. GRYSKLL live today, featuring Daniel Pandamonium, DJ Pandamonium, and Ty Healy. They are both here with us today to celebrate the release of their new project, Bamboozled, 7-track EP, and you're gonna hear it today. You'll be able to tell what it's about today. Give you a chance to meet the two fellas today. We're going to talk, shoot the breeze a little bit at the same time, talk about the project, the origins of the project. We're going to listen to the project. And as usual, y'all know, GRYSKLL.com, pick up some merch. You want some other varieties of merch besides the GRYSKLL merch, hit up the different member sites. Damon's got his hoodies and shirts up there. His Zoe on his Instagram, he's got some shirts. The Black Mavs have some shirts. We're doing a bunch of different things, man, and we're really excited to be able to do these things with people like Ty Healy and DJ Pandamonium on deck. So Pandamonium, Ty Healy, peace. Good morning from this side, or good afternoon, I guess. Good evening on your end. You guys across the pond. Welcome. How y'all doing today?
Feeling well, man. Feeling blessed. Thank you for having us. It's about 7 p.m. over here. It's raining. So yeah, typical England, you know what I mean? But it's all good, man. We've got the spirit of hip hop with us, so bless.
Man.
Support.
I'm nice and dry down on my end of the country, but yeah, rocking it at 7 o'clock here. Yeah. Very grateful to be here as well. Very grateful.
Yeah, it's your second time on with us, man. We appreciate you coming out with us again, Panda. I was really appreciative of the fact that you hit us up for this, man. This was an honor for real.
Absolutely.
Something brand new with somebody, especially a project like this. I mean, after hearing the project, I'm like, yeah. I'm glad it was here. It was really an honor once I heard the album. I was like, it fits the aesthetic of the squad. It fits the aesthetic of the show and the fellas, and it fits the hip hop aesthetic in general, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that, and I'm equally as honored to have the platform. We're both equally as honored to, have the platform to show you guys what we've made. On me.
It's your second live stream now, Panda.
Yeah, second one now. You popped my live stream showing us.
And you're popping my cherry now, hence why I'm drinking the cherry B.
It's your first two, seriously?
I think I've done a couple of other live streams, but with you guys officially, I watch you guys. I appreciate being on there, you know what I mean? So thanks, Panda, for introducing me to the squad. And like I say, you guys appreciate that real shit. So it's an honor for me to be amongst you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man.
I think the feeling's like that for sure.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate that.
Absolutely. And from the crew, from GRYSKLL, on the line today. We got Wonder Dial, Sheed of the Black Mavericks. We got Q, Engineer Supreme, C, producer, and all types of other things. Rocking the spicy new hoodie from Scam. He about to pop that on. He's about to put on the suit. And of course, the infamous Zoe the Instrument Being, Kareem Muse on the stage too, the starter for so many of GRYSKLL's classics, man. How y'all feeling this afternoon, this Saturday? Everybody good?
Yeah, man. Excited to be here, man. Glad to be here.
Excited to have
can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound crispy.
Yeah,
man.
we got you.
Okay,
Gotcha.
okay.
You sound good.
Yeah, you want a new mic or something? That sounds real crispy. It sounds extra crispy over there today.
Well, I never used the mic. If you notice, I got on headphones. I never really used the mic. So I'm using it today. So
yeah, it sounds good, bro.
It sounds real crispy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds super professional. Yo, man. I guess
I tried.
I'll try. I know she's on the way to handle some business. Q, what you been up to today, bro?
A little bit of cleaning and working on the interlude stuff.
Ooh. Panda, we got a treat coming your way, man. We got a treat.
Yeah. Also working on my verse for Blow the Horns. So that's with Sheed and Kareem and on some Panda production. So
yeah, I can't wait to hear that.
I'll wait for that, man.
Yeah, you got to hear this one.
Mm-hmm.
Sheed, you got anything you want to share about your excursion today?
Not really. nah, it's just a wedding. Going to DJ a wedding. That's all.
Hey man, DJ duty, that works, man.
so you can get your flow rider in and
Yo, honestly,
and
I'm not like like I think this thing might get real ratchet real fast, yo. And I'm not really like, dude sent me a list this morning, like I was supposed to get this to you. I apologize. I'm like, cool.
tip
I
drill.
started looking, I'm like, I don't even know who these people are, yo. Like, I'm trying to find stuff, yo. So I'm like, man, this is about to be 65 to 75 BPM all night. I'm gonna be so
Right, man.
Stripper pole.
Yeah, you might need to get you some Red Bull or something.
Oh, now
Get ready.
we're gonna give it to them. They're gonna get it however they get it. So
I know you're gonna have it. I know you're gonna serve, man. I know you're gonna serve. Well, yo, for our guest of the hour, man, there's so many different ways to start this, man. I think since Panda's kind of been introduced to the GRYSKLL family before, everybody's well aware and well familiar with him from the family. I think through the collaborations he did with Wonder Dial and Kareem most recently, Baggage Claim, the project he produced for the Black Mavs, and a bunch of others of his heat, man. He's got a whole bunch of other heat that just has nothing to do with us whatsoever. So I think the family's got a little bit of familiarity with him. Ty, man, how'd you like to introduce yourself, bro?
Yeah, man. Well, first of all, peace and hair grease to everybody out there, internet land and all that. But yeah, man, I'm Ty Healy, aka Tyrone the Healer, and as you can see by the shirt, Local Healers is the crew. Shout out my brother Nay Loco, who rocks with me. I mean, like, I'm a kind of a guy who just, I don't know, man. I'm obsessed with this shit. You know what I mean? Hip hop was like a stepdad to me. You know what I mean? That's when at a time I really needed one. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of crazy, like just growing up as an English kid, a Northern English kid as well too. So I'm not even from London. I'm actually from way up. So this hip hop shit is like, it was really crazy how it hit like my life and stuff. Like my mom was a really big West Coast, like, that was her shit. My dad, East Coast as hell. So when in the midst of that East-West beef, I'm a 5-year-old like, well, I like both. So I want to, you know what I mean? So I've just been a sponge, man, absorbing this stuff, you know what I mean? And then, like I say, just perseverance, keep working, like much like my boy Panda, just constant releases, you know what I mean? Just elevating the craft. And like I say, like I'm in America a lot myself, just because I got some peeps out there and stuff. And I just really appreciate that, with the British tongue and stuff, like our hip hop is like appreciated by you guys as well. Cause, it's quite obviously like, we're inspired by you guys, but we never couldn't want to come off as imitators. You know what I mean? We like to put our own English flair in the dialogue and the context and the content. So so when you guys like tell me that you feel it and stuff, that it means a lot, man. You know what I mean? That's what hip hop's about. So yeah, so thank you for having us, and yeah, let's just keep this shit going, you know.
Absolutely, man. Yo, it's
Yeah,
dope. You said,
perfectly said. Perfectly said.
yeah, and you came up in the 90s. You said you were around 5 around the time of the East Coast, West Coast.
Yeah, so I was born in like 1990, so it's like I literally feel like that era of hip hop is like, oh, that's like the trajectory. Every year is like, okay, so in 91, I'm 1, in 92, I'm 2, and it's crazy because my mom, bless her, she was only 15 when I was born, so she was a crazy hip hop head. Like we have a picture of the day I was born, like in the hospital. She's got the salt and pepper haircut, so it's like, yeah, it's real. I mean, so it's really crazy because it's like how I grew up was like kind of watching her like take all this stuff on, and she's like, you know, she's a child, you know what I mean? But then so enthused by it. Like I mean, Panda, you can speak to this, like what hip hop did to us back then. Like it was a crazy phenomenon because we didn't have access to everything, do you know what I mean? So we got little bits, whether it was certain DJs going over to you guys, grabbing some vinyl, bringing it back, and they would spin in the clubs. It's a crazy thing. But like, yeah, I think I became like really, really obsessed with it around like 9-6, because like I'm a 6-year-old and I'm watching like the Woo-Ha video, and I was like, that's that contagious energy. Like I felt that even back then. Do you know what I mean? So I guess I don't know, not to dribble on, but I feel like that kind of stuff is always just resonated with me. So it's like from then onwards, you know what I mean? I've always kept up to date. I did my homework. I had to go back as well, because by the time I thought I was a little something, you know, if I was like 10, 11, started to try and rhyme and stuff, my dad kind of came in and said, nah, you ain't doing that. Because he's like, you can't tell him that Big Daddy Kane ain't the best rapper of all time. So it was almost like I had to study every legend, every pioneer, even to almost like step to my dad, like, yo, dad, I want to do that. So even then I kind of like didn't jump straight into hip hop because I had to just do the knowledge, you know what I mean? So now I'm finally at a point where I'm like, well, yeah, I've been doing it for a while, but yeah, it definitely was like a boot camp thing before I even dared to like actually drop some lyrics, you know what I mean?
So
you were put through the tests, man.
Just based off the Big Daddy Kane thing, though, I fucks with your dad.
Yeah, like, he would fight people, like, you know, like genuinely, like, yeah, he was a crazy dude, to be real with you, but like he was willing to literally like put fist up to anybody who contested the fight. Like it was so crazy as well, because low key I really fought with Rakim, and it was like, well, I can't say that around Pops. So like, I go over to mom and be like, oh, mom, Rakim's kind of hard too, right?
Yeah, it's dope that you came up in that era, in that time period, and you still got the lore, you still got the story and the respect and appreciation for the culture, because a lot of people lost that in that period, because that's the period when corporate really kind of took over and they started to put the more commercial.
100%.
I'm going to call it poison, but not necessarily all poison, because some of it's, you know, it depends on where it's coming from, but some of it I think is intended to poison us.
As soon as it became their cash cow, wasn't it? You know.
And I'll be real with you. Like, again, not to like just keep banging on about my age, but like as a child, some of that shit worked. You know what I mean? There was certain stuff like on the commercial side, I was like, well, again, I'm not really even. I'm just taking it in as music kind of thing. Like it was so funny because I remember like I was around my teens when I wanted to really like start like writing lyrics and stuff. And I remember Outkast like really being like, oh, because they were so animated, I was almost like it just resonated on that level. But then again, you go and do the history, I'm like, yo, these people, they're saying stuff though. It's like, yeah, you know, the hits are the hits. And I actually don't think Outkast are the people who I would put in the poison catalog. There's definitely a whole lot more commercial motherfuckers than those guys. But it's like, I don't know, it's almost like, for me, how I saw hip hop evolve, it kind of like, we had to kind of like weave through the bullshit and then like get and find the stuff that resonates. And it's so funny because even when we were just talking before the live stream started about like the beat battles and stuff, like the names that are being mentioned, they might not get mentioned by this, you know, the big mainstream accolades and all that, but we all know who really does this shit. And I feel like as long as we continue to support that and keep looking for new undiscovered stuff, we'll be all right, man. Like I don't I don't worry with that whole hip hop is dead narrative, because it's like, yeah, if you don't look beyond the top 40 charts, right? But if you do your job and you look through that shit, you find more than enough, especially now, you know?
Yeah.
So
You're absolutely right with us, you know, growing up in the UK, especially during the 90s and whatnot, and especially pre-internet as well. You know, you really had to dig, and like you say, we relied on those imports, man, didn't we? You know, every time you saw that import sticker, yeah.
It always amazes me how much hip hop really took a foothold over in the UK and around the world in general. I'm not surprised because of the power of hip hop, but it's still surprised at how it happened. Just the fact that it happened is something to appreciate, man. And to hear the type of hip hop y'all are putting out, especially in this time period right now, is so refreshing. When, you know, the landscape for a lot of what we hear over here is or what's put right in front of our faces easily over here is so challenging. Like, to know that I got a direct plug to the underground over there, what I'm going to hear first is something that's more closely tied to my heart, means a lot, versus, you know, what I'm going to hear most venues here. I gotta really dig and sift through a lot of it, man. So appreciate y'all keeping a pure pipeline coming back.
And
in the story
guys,
about
man, it's like, you know, so long as you're searching in the right places, especially, you know, over on these shores and over on your shores, you know, you guys are killing it as well, you know. So
appreciate that. Yo, Zoe, you about to say something?
Yeah, I was just saying that just hearing Ty's story of, you know, his connection with hip hop and Busta and Woo-Ha, and I think that's a common thread with most hip hoppers, is it doesn't matter when you were born. Most real true hip hoppers, when I hear their story, they always go back, because that's always been part of what hip hop was built on. It's built on, you know, we take whatever form of music and we could flip it. And we always, you know, Panda, he's not going to scratch somebody he doesn't like. He's going to scratch a vocal from somebody that he likes. And that's a way that you pay homage. And that's just something that I always find with hip hoppers, real heads. That's one way you could tell, because they want to go back. And it relates to your rap style too, because we all start nursery. We all start Melly Mel. You know what I'm saying? We all start that way, and then we evolve. And yeah, that's just interesting. And I don't care where you're from, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
And extra credit to anybody that makes that choice to do that, what you just said, man, to go back, do the knowledge of the history, and then to go through the effort of evolving. Because a lot of people are satisfied with that little simple ABC 1, 2, 3 rhyme, and they think that's enough. Or they think just mimicking the next thing that they hear that worked for somebody else is enough. To know that you got to take the time and make the effort to create something new and different and challenge yourself to step outside of your comfort zones. That not a lot of people do that, and I do appreciate it when somebody who does it with full intention, regardless of their skill level. First off, but when somebody's talented and good at it too at the same time, that's heaven, man.
Absolutely. We're gonna stop slandering my ABC 1, 2, 3 style, yo.
I'm just
proud here.
Yeah, I bet.
Heavy, man, because it's like, you know, things go full circle in this shit, and it's like, I don't know about you guys, but there was a minute for me where it's like everyone was really like forcing this like lyrical miracle multi-syllable shit, and it was like, you know, certain peds came back around, and it was like some of that simple shit just resonates, man. And it's like, I actually don't think it is simple, like, do you know what I mean? Because it's essentially, this is all poetry, right? Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you can say so much with so little, and I feel like even like the music I've made with Panda, like some of it, man, like, you know, I do push the pen always, but there's certain times it doesn't always call for that. Like sometimes you need some shit that is kind of like you can just unwind to and kind of just take it for what it is. You know what I mean? I feel like overcomplicating it sometimes is actually overkill, and it's like not enjoyable sometimes. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's balanced. Everything is balanced essentially. You know what I mean? So yeah, my name is Da, and I'm here to say, like, that shit still works. You know what I mean? You go to
Absolutely.
Last night, and I still said, somebody say, "Oh yeah," whole crowd, "Oh," like that shit never not gonna work. So you know,
absolutely, man.
I think actually, funnily enough, one of the beats that I sent you for this project, I originally entitled it "Take Your Time." That could, do you know what I mean? So
That's dope.
Very nice.
That mindset works really well too, for somebody who speaks on the side of a healer. Like, your name's Ty Healy. You're with a crew called the Local Healers. What's that about, man?
So it's so funny because it's like, so in our scene over here, like it's very parallel to like essentially like what's happening to you guys, especially with the current climate of rap. You know what I mean? Like over here in the UK, there's so many different like versions of like this music thing. Like we are, like, you know, you guys have got like the drill kind of thing. It's so funny to me because that shit kind of came from like Chicago, but then it came over here and then they fused it with a genre we have called grime. And then it kind of went back over to New York and then it's kind of become another thing. But long story short though, it's like a lot of like that's in bulk, and the stuff that we do, like stuff with Panda and stuff, is like it's almost like a niche now. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, you guys are UK hip hop, underground hip hop kind of thing. So with the Local Healers, I had a friend, his name is Nay Loco, and he's been rapping on the scene for a long time. I thought he never really got as much shine as he deserved for how cold he was as an MC. So I had a little bit of a buzz here in our city. Well, not a little bit. A nice. I'm a known guy in the Nottingham scene anyway. So I kind of like, yo, bro, like, why are we not linking up, man? Because you're so cold, but then I understand that not everyone is like just wants to give it to you because again, you're going against the grain and you're not making the commercial thing that would get you the appeal. So when we started making music, we really clicked up and we really got the chemistry. And like I say, his name is Nay Loco. My name's Ty Healy. So I was like, oh, well, if you take Loco into local, Healy into healers, you get the Local Healers. And that's kind of like the concept, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, we might not have the biggest rep in the game, but it's positive stuff. It's thought-provoking stuff. And, you know, through the idea, we're trying to heal this hip-hop shit. We're trying to heal people, you know what I mean? Because music is therapy, you know what I mean? For the people who rap on the music and for the people that take it in. So I gotta say shout out to my brother Nay Loke. And actually, as the Local Healers, that's how we hooked up with Panda in the first place. So it all kind of worked out for the best, you know what I mean? So salute to Panda.
Big up Nay and big up Lou Cypher as well. So there was, yeah, it was all kind of interlinked, wasn't it? But like, yeah, getting to meet you guys and do that project was an absolute blessing. And I don't know if you heard me a minute ago, I was saying you're being modest with regards to, man, you guys are slaying it left, right, and center. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I'm always mad humbled to work with you guys in any way.
Appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, I was listening to some of your or going through some of the reels on Instagram. I went through you and I went through some of our locals work too. I went through and then I went my way to the Local Healers page too. And I saw a few performance pieces from y'all and I saw on each of them. And actually before I got a chance to even say it and notice it, my lady, she was like, yo, they got response from the crowd. They got crowd responses. Like, yeah. So
you know, it's so funny, you know, because it's funny. The reason I asked you before we came on, I was like, oh, did your girl like it? Is because, like, one thing I will say, and I got to be real, like, hip-hop shows, the ladies don't always come. Our shows are always front row full of girls, man. And I'm like, yo, I must be doing something right. The man them are there, don't get it wrong, but they're in the back cooling up. But in the front, the girls are singing back, the calling responses. And I'm like, yo, hey, I love LL, so maybe some of that shit's rubbed off. I don't know.
Word.
We did a show last year, Panda, and we did some of the tracks off the Local Healers Panda collab. I don't know if you saw the clip, but it was literally like a college student night or something. So those like, group of girls who were like, I don't know, 18, 19, they came to this venue that they probably wouldn't have come to if it wasn't, you know, it wasn't part of like their college. Just ended up randomly being in there. They were going crazy, and I was like, "Yes, you see."
I think I've seen some footage of, or been told about it anyway. At least, yeah, man, that was ill.
Yeah.
That's the brilliant thing. With I just got to say quickly about all of you guys, like you and Nay especially as well. Like you were saying, his lyrics, man, they were just stuck in your head, weren't they? You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's you know, you guys have got a finesse, but at the same time, like, you're catchy.
Yeah,
you know
man.
what I mean? Like, and it's clever catchy. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, it's perfect perfect balance, really, you know.
Yeah, man. That's it. In a nutshell, man. Both sides.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Panda, and it's like you knew this was the right spot to bring them to. I mean, with you being on the healing, the art therapy, music therapy thing, our big mission from the start here at Grayskull, aside from making dope quality hip hop, this like true to ourselves, is hip hop group therapy was a tagline. You know, mental health and wellness was a theme. We had episodes that were with mental health professionals or people who work in the mental health advocacy field.
Oh, I a few of those actually. Yo, salute, man. Like I say, you know, like not to cut you off, bro, but like I say, like it's so funny, isn't it? It's like that shit was happening to us before we even knew it. Like when we was listening to these records, like way back, like it was soothing. You know what I mean? Like even like, you know, even some of the most gangsterish shit, like it's venting. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like the way we listen to this stuff, man, it's like, I don't know, it does something. It's some other shit, and I feel like that kind of what is the goal of therapy is, if nothing else, is it not some form of enlightenment, some form of awareness? It's like that shit's been happening to us, man, because, you know, we quote these lyrics and we remember these beats almost like they're part of our DNA, right? And it helps us all grow. So how could it not be on the level of mental health and self-care? It has to be, surely, right?
Yeah.
I say at least a portion of it has to be, a good portion of it has to be, man, because a lot of it's people just pouring out their pains, or, you know, giving themselves some sort of therapy, you know, by pointing out what's going on within them, man. And people that are, you know, have the intentions of sending messages to either warn people away or tell stories like cautionary tales. And then just, you know, there's the quote unquote conscious rap world too. I don't know if that's a label anybody, you know, takes and accepts for themselves, but, you know, something that I guess I use that to kind of describe a type of, or, you know, an intention with the hip hop, which is just to send messages of positivity. And I guess touching on that, is that, like, how do you feel about that label when it comes to local healers? Is that a label that you guys?
I don't run away from it, for sure, because it's like, I feel like when the concept of the conscious rapper very quickly got tagged to the backpack rapper, got very quickly tagged to the nerd rap, alt rap kind of thing. I'm like, hip hop is hip hop, man. Do you know what I mean? It's like some of the most like you can't tell me that Ice Cube isn't conscious, right? You know what I mean? Like the social commentary he's touching on is so far advanced and so much needed, that I actually just feel like it all comes down to sonics, man. Like I definitely don't say to anyone like, yo, don't hit me with that conscious rap attack. Like that's for the people who are taking it in. If that's how you want to receive it, if it makes you receive it, then fair enough. Like me and Nay as the local healers, I knew like mantras, like we camouflage the message and the fun now. Like I don't know if you saw, like I did an interview at the BBC, and I basically like had to like nail that point in, because it's like, you never want to come across preachy. I think that's the negative tag that comes with that conscious title, that you think you're above everyone else. Like, you shouldn't be twerking, you should be learning. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you need both. We're probably going to keep repeating this balance thing, right? Because we're all human at the end of the day. Like, I feel like human nature definitely gravitates towards righteousness and ratchetness, hence the wedding where my man's going to be spinning and playing the freaknik music, you know what I mean? It's like, it's all encompassed. So I'd say I don't run away from it. I would just say it's just music, you know? So I don't look at it like that.
Yeah.
That's a dope way of looking at it, man. I like that. I like that a lot, man. That's the first time I heard somebody explain it or break it down that way too. Yeah. So appreciate that, man. Well, shit, I mean, we got a little bit of background on you, man. And I appreciate that. Thank you for giving us a little bit of background. I think the next piece of background is, you know, how you guys really decided to start working on this project. We understand that y'all came together through local healers and collaborations there, but how did you guys land on doing a project together one-on-one?
I'll let Panda take this one, man.
Okay. Well, from what I mean, me and Ty have, like I said, we've been working since we've done the Long Year EP with Nay and Louis. And then since then, you know, there's been like little sneaky kind of like little like hop-ons, like, you know, I did a remix, Children of Zeus remix, and I got Nay to do a guest feature on it, and then I did this remix for Oh Love, and I felt I needed a verse, so I helped my man Ty, and he obviously blessed me with that.
Yep.
And then yeah, we kind of progressed from there. As I don't even know, I think I just sent you a beat, didn't I? I can't remember which beat started it off, but I sent you a beat. I think, like you said, if I remember rightly, it was just, I was like, yeah, like we could knock this one out real quick and bang it out as a single, and then I had another beat, and I was like, actually no, here's a second beat, we can knock it out as 2 tracks. We put it as like a 2-track single. Yeah. Oh, actually no. Oh, I've just made this third. I tell you what, man, I reckon you'd fit on this third beat, and it just built, and the whole thing, like, was just like I was saying earlier before we went live, was literally one of the most organically kind of like made projects I've been involved in. The whole thing, no lie, I think took about, I don't know, somewhere between 10 and 15 days. Like, so creatively, about 10 to 15 days, it was done.
Yep.
Within about 10 to 15 days. Obviously, that's not counting the mixing, mastering, and things like that. But,
we did it. It was funny because it was kind of like you said, it was like, oh, you could do this one. Oh, you could do this one. Oh, you could, and it was like, all of them made sense to me sonically. I was like, well, yeah, just give me them all. And it was like, and I respect his craft so much, and I know he's a busy guy. I was like, I'm not gonna dilly dally with this shit, because you know how it goes when you send a beat round to an MC, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, and then like a couple months passes, and then there's another guy who you're thinking, shit, I should have asked him to do it, and then I was like, nah, wait, that's not happening. Like, these beats you send me, you're gonna hear me on it in quick time. You know what I mean? And again, it was like, and I wasn't gonna bullshit as well. I remember, like, I had time, and I was like, right, I'm gonna make a point. When he sends me some shit and I'm feeling it, I'm gonna like really like think about, like, not just like dropping a random 16. Like, we're gonna make like topical songs. You know what I mean? And I feel like because that happened, it was almost like you were like, you were making an album without even thinking about it, because you were like, oh shit, that's a subject matter. That's a subject matter. Although that kind of connects to that one, so maybe there's more to the story. You know what I mean? So it kind of just evolved like that. And I'm like, I'm so proud that we got it done so quick, because it doesn't sound quick. It doesn't sound like a rush project, right? Like, so because I
like to think it doesn't anyway.
Tell people it got done quick. I was like, maybe we don't. Like, but the point is, it was just organic, wasn't it? So yeah, like, I'm really proud that we knocked it out, and it was a bamboozling thing, because it was like, it bamboozled me how sonically all the tracks kind of made. It almost told like a little short story in it, and it was like, shit, like, well, this is bigger than just I'll rap on that one. It became like it feels like an album, even though it's only 7 tracks. In the modern world, album, right? So
exactly. Yeah, man, absolutely. Like I said, it was and like I said, beat wise as well. You know, sometimes I don't know, I can't explain. I suppose in that specific time period, I was sat there, and there was a couple of beats that I made that were, I would call them like, not like typical Panda beats, if you know what I mean. Like, because normally, like, typical Panda beats would be, I don't know, anything from like 85 BPM to maybe 95. I think the fastest I went was like 100. Yeah, but they're all kind of like in that range, boom bap. You know what I mean? There was a couple where I decided to go outside of that box a little bit, so not too far out. You know, I still kept it Pandizzle, but like, you know. So yeah, I thought when you mentioned about, you know, titling it Bamboozled, you know, it was fitting in that sense, you know, because we wanted to try and catch a couple of fans, you know, some fans off guard. You know what I mean? Like, if you're just expecting, like, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you get used to a person's kind of sound and way they work, and when they hit you with just something a little bit kind of, you know, yeah.
And obviously, like, to anyone who didn't catch the metaphor, I'm pretty sure you guys did, but like, you know, bamboozled, he's the panda. So I was like, that just made sense.
I'll tell you another way I read it the other day, actually, was BAMBOOZLED. As in, I was like, well, that would describe my younger days, most definitely. But yeah.
That's a good one.
I like that name. That's okay. I like that.
Yeah, definitely, man. I didn't even catch the bamboo.
I didn't catch that either. That's dope.
Yeah, man.
Yo,
Bamboo.
I'm glad you said it out loud. So some of us didn't sit in the genius.
Cat onto it.
No, that was genius, man. That's real sharp, man.
Do you mind if I just slide off 2 seconds and grab a drink?
Yeah, not a problem, man. Take your time, bro.
These
These are hangouts, man. These are real informal time. We don't try to make this anything that feels too much like an interview. I do hit these damn questions rapid fire. I'm working on making those a little bit more lax. But how you enjoying it so far, man?
No, I'm loving it, man. And just as like a pre-warning, I do tend to ramble in it. So it's just the excitement. So like if I'm going on, man, feel free to be like, all right, bro, we got it.
Nah, you're perfect, man. It's not a ramble at all, man. This is really just a genuine, like when I say this, this thing started out as kind of like a hip hop group therapy thing. It was really one of those things like, yo, come in, just speak your mind, speak your heart. There's no judgment. There's no rules, no nothing. We all came and just brought ourselves to the table, and we were all able to be ourselves comfortably around one another. And I think that's what made the crew gel and make the crew work, man. So absolutely, speak your mind. Don't censor yourself in any way, shape, or form. And I know I can already tell that you're not and that you won't. But
yeah, like I say, I love the dynamic, man. Like I say, everyone's also on their own path musically as well. You know what I mean? DJs heading to events. We got my man like pulling up the SP. Like it's just dope, man. It's nice to link up with you guys, man. Like I say, I've watched a few shows. Obviously, Panda's plugged me in, and I'm like, yo, shit. Like when he told me we were gonna like basically talk about the project on here, I was like, oh shit, yeah, I've got to do this because like I was gonna go kind of ham yesterday because we had the live show, and I was like, well, we're only opening for a different band, so I was like, so I could kind of take advantage of the free booze. I was thinking, maybe I could. But I was like, I dialed it back a little bit because I wanted to be on point with you guys. You know what I mean? So but I'm gonna enjoy it.
Yo, I appreciate the consideration. I don't know if in my younger days if I could have had control over that bottle had control over me for a while, man.
I still don't have control over that.
It's a mug, ain't it?
For real.
That's a serious monkey to carry on the back. Yo, Ty, one other thing that I wanted to ask you about, man, that stood out to me on the project, and then we'll get into the project if y'all ready, man, was seeing your approach to some of the tracks, man, seeing that you're not a monolithic delivery person. Like you flows and you play and experiment with flows. Those types of MCs are always my favorite, man.
Yeah.
And the connection with the Bamboozled, like that explanation, that kind of like, I love that. That's dope.
Oh, man. I love that, man. Thank you guys. Well, like I say, like, you know, it's funny when I talk to my boys about this, it's always like when we're like gonna start a project, or not even start a project, when we're gonna like work on something, it's kind of like right, what chamber, kind of on some Wu-Tang shit, like what chamber you kind of going into. And it was like with this one, I was like, lately I've kind of been working on like some other music where it's kind of like I'm just going a bit left with it, man. It's like because there really is no rules anymore, you know what I mean? I'm not that there was, but like especially in a time when people are just so on the same shit, like I'm sure you guys must get bored of it, you know what I mean? Like I say, for me, I'm just kind of on a tip where it's like, you know, as an MC, I feel like I can rap, you know what I mean? I can do that. And it's like, but it's kind of like, but if everyone's kind of like just doing that, it's kind of like, what's the next step? And I guess with like this Panda project, I really wanted to just go somewhere else with it, man. Like I was channeling a lot of like ODB. I was listening to a lot of him at the time, and I was like, yeah, man, I'll just his like the bouncy approach to it. Like you're still getting like the, you know, the metaphors and like the little hidden messages and whatnot, but it's like I just wanted to like make it fun and just bouncy and stuff. And it was so crazy because it's like Panda really caught me at a weird minute because it was like near Christmas, so it was kind of like, well, we've all spent all our money, so it's kind of like we ain't really going anywhere. Crib, so it was like, yeah, I was just listening to like a lot of different genres. I was listening to a lot of Dolly Parton, funny enough. Like I was a random one because it's just like the storytelling. There's little increments. Like low key, I do love country music, just as a little sidebar. But like support, I was just listening to a lot of like different shit, and I was kind of thinking, man, like, you know, this rap shit was the whole point. To me anyway, it felt like what really made you an MC is like, do you have your style, right? And rather than just this like you sound like him and sound like him because that's trendy to do. I was like, nah, man, we gotta we gotta go somewhere else with it. So when Panda sent these beats, I was like, I'm not gonna hold back. I'm just gonna go in a different lane with it. So I'm glad that that's like translated to you guys as well. Because again, I'm still thinking about this British accent on those kind of beats. I'm like, I mean, hey, people fuck with it, so much love. You know what I mean?
Most definitely fucks with it.
Yeah,
Most definitely.
It melts just right with the beat.
It was British people. We got like a shorter tongue. It's so funny. Like I always say this, especially when you're talking about like the slower 85 to 90 BPM kind of beats and stuff. Like, you know, when we speak, like we break our English so much. Like when you said guys say water, like water, like we got water. Like it's just it's like it's so, like I always feel like hip hop, like to me, like I love Snoop. And the way like his words are just so round and so filled out. And it's like, as a kid, I was like, man, my tongue is so sharp. Like English rappers actually do sound better on like up tempo shit because it's like, because it's so short, it gets more stabby. So that's where like that grime drill thing kind of works over here. So I feel like when you're a UK MC rapping over like more traditional hip hop, like you really have to like work to make it sound special. And I feel like with Panda's production, it really like gives me that space where I can like really freak it and sound really cool, but not sound like I'm trying to impersonate an American. Do you know what I mean? Like, because that does happen in, you know, Panda, you know, especially back in the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was going to say it can do mostly back in the day, wasn't it? But yeah, yeah.
That's a gem though about the shorter tongue.
I've got to mention actually quick, because you're saying about you know, about the accents you were saying in Thai, because it's ironic, isn't it? Because I've found, obviously, you know, like English people seem to have like this kind of like weird admiration for the United, you know, the American, various American accents, you know, and I've found as well with hooking up with you know, guys like yourselves and whatnot overseas that like you guys seem to like really kind of like love like how we sound and our accents and stuff. I've had people hitting me up for like, you know, over there for like jingles and stuff. They're like, oh, I love your British accent. Can you like say yada yada yada? You know what I mean? So,
yo, how did y'all feel about well, I guess there's only one that I can name off the top of my head. I don't think he had anything to do with overseas with somebody like Dana Dane, because he wasn't actually from over across the pond, right?
Dana Dane.
Yeah, because wasn't Slick Rick from London as well?
Slick Rick was. They used to be rhyme partners, I believe. But Dana had you know, he would rhyme with the accent. But I was from over here. Have y'all heard that? And have y'all heard any opinions on that, or had any opinions on that?
Well, I'm gonna be real with you guys. Like Slick Rick, for a very long time, was my favorite rapper all time. Like, because it was like what him and Dana were doing. It was just like, again, it's that like the British humor is very sarcastic. Like, so like. It's very like, it's like almost like if there was an Olympic sport for complaining about shit, that England would win all the time. Like we're just naturally good at going, oh, it's fucking shit, innit? It's not good out here. So it's like funny, like when they kind of like emerged. I mean, and again, I'm talking about like me going back and checking them out. Like when I listened to Great Adventures specifically, like what I kind of found was like there was like I really connected to like just the conversational approach to the spitting, because it was very much like, I was walking on the bus and I was eating midnight. Like it really like, it had that like English bloke mentality. And it's like, that shit like really hit on a personal level. I was like, yo, hold on. Let me not sleep on this Slick Rick guy. Let me like really go into the catalog, and then like obviously finding about like Dana and even just a lot of that like early 85 shit like really like hit me. And it's like, it's funny because there's a few of my favorite rappers. It's I don't know if it's like a coincidence or some shit, but like MF Doom, really important to me as an MC. And it's like, apparently he's British. Buster has apparently got some family in Fulham, and I'm like, yo, shit, is this maybe I'm finding like the connection with these people because of the British roots. I don't know, maybe it's like ingrained in there somewhere. I'm not sure, you know what I mean? But yeah, there's something about the approach. I don't know.
That's dope, man. That's dope that you did that history, that you did that homework, man. A lot of people ain't gonna do that, man. That's respect. That's big respect, man. And I know a lot of people say music, especially music from the past, is kind of, you had to be there for it to hit you in a certain way. then going back, it doesn't have the same efficacy or the same strength, the potency as some people think that. Exactly. If you love the culture, I think it comes across differently. But like, how did it come across to you? Like, going back to it, did it feel like, okay, I'm listening to something old, this feels old, or what? Like, how did it feel for you hearing some of that classic stuff for the first time?
It was twofold. First thing was, it was very much, it felt like homework. Like, again, because it was like, because of what my dad and my mom was kind of saying, that they were quite proud of, they were like teenagers in it. So they were very much like, they really experienced, they were in the clubs, do you know what I mean? So they really felt kind of thing. Whereas for me, I'm kind of like, just listening to, like, I'm just like kind of catching, like stealing their tape cassettes and like listening to it on my little Walkman and stuff. So going back, it was kind of like, I have to absorb it all. So it was almost like, I did enjoy it, but sometimes I was almost like forcing it a little bit. And it actually took when I got a bit older and I really was like wanting to do it. And it was like, yo, like, just looking at, like, just, you know, just as Black people, our history, like, in general, like, I was really, like, when I was like 15, 16, like, I really got, like, I don't want to say the word woke, but like, I really like looked into like my Blackness, because funny enough, like, my mom is actually mixed. So her mom is full white. She's Irish, actually. And my dad wasn't really around. So it was like, I actually had like a bit of like a yearning for like to understand my Blackness and stuff. And what I found was like, hip hop narrated a lot of stuff. And I was like, oh, like, I remember, again, just bring Outkast stuff. I remember like the song Rosa Parks, like, I'm 8 when that came out. And I'm just listening to it as like a fun up song. But then when I'm looking in like history books, I'm like, Rosa Parks, oh, back of the bus. The reason they're saying that is because this is her story. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like, it was really enlightening, man. And it's like, though I wasn't there to experience it like as an adult, like it really helped mold who I am as a man today. So it's like, I really owe that to hip hop. You know what I mean? Because it made the learning less heartbreaking, I guess. And it was more like, it documented the times it was pain. And that's why I always go back to that healer complex, man. That shit healed me. I needed that shit. So yeah, it really impacted me, man.
I respect that. And I appreciate that. Hip hop did a lot of the same for me. It gave me a lot of lessons and connections to the culture. I come from a state called Colorado here in the U.S. So predominantly white state. So yeah. I was one of 3 Black children at my elementary school. So my connections to the culture were real sparse as well, man. So hip hop definitely was my lifeline in a lot of cases for a long time. And I always say hip hop was like my first wife. It's always my first love. It was the first thing that I fell in love with on the planet. I love music in general, period. But hip hop, it grabbed me at a really young age, and I had limited access. I had like Run DMC, the Fat Boys, the Beastie Boys, Curtis Blow, anybody that made it to the radio, national radio was what I had. I didn't have a whole lot of connections to like the Just Ices and the Cool Hercs and all that, anybody that was from the grain until the 90s is when I started picking that up. So it's dope to see how you picked that up and it really carried and walked with you. And the fact that you went back to the era of your childhood, because I know for me and for a lot of us, when it came to sampling music for hip hop, we went back to the music of our childhood. We went to the 70s, the late 60s to sample from. And that's my favorite era, is back from, the days of my adolescence. So it's interesting. Yeah. Parallel.
Yeah, man. That's my grandma. So it's like, it's so funny that you say that, because it was almost like when I thought I knew everything about rap, she was like, that song's stolen, right? And I was like, huh? What? Like, you need to get up on, you need to listen to Parliament Funkadelic, you need to listen to, we're just gonna be naming names all day, aren't we? But it was like, oh shit. So I gotta do the learning again. And then funny, like, that's kind of where, like, personally, like, my just music appreciation really developed, because then it was like just so many different genres really impacted me. Like, I always bring it up, man. Country music, man, the storytelling and that shit, to me, parallels hip hop, man. I'm like, yo, wow,
exactly, yes,
right. You know what I'm saying? Like, the story might be different, but in essence, like, the delivery of such is like, this shit's powerful, man. You know what I mean? And again, that's when we all have to go, this is music at the end of the day. Like, do you know what I mean? Genres and stuff, we're all playing the same instruments. We're just using them in different ways, right? And that's where it's like, I feel like to be a real complete hip hop musician, whatever, you have to just listen to more than just hip hop. And I guess that's kind of what's happened to a lot of the kids nowadays. It's kind of like they've got their shit and it's like nothing else matters. And I'm like, man, not to be judgmental, but yo, you guys, you're missing out, man. Like you're watching half of the movie, you know what I mean?
Yeah. and a chance to connect, man. I know, you know, we're growing up in a disconnected society in a lot of ways, so people don't really see the value in connection as much as we may have. So yeah, I get it. Definitely no judgment, but you know, just concern for you.
Yeah.
I like to be more connected to y'all, and you know, our music, one of our forms of connectivity. It's kind of like eating a meal together, listening to some good music together. It's kind of like the same as sitting down to have a nourishing meal.
Oh shit.
We y'all ready to get into this?
Let's go.
100%, man. Really looking forward to unleashing it.
Beautiful. I think what we can do, if you guys are up for it, maybe we go track for track and just get a quick recap or quick thoughts from you guys on each track after we play.
I mean, that'd be amazing. Yeah, 100%. If you guys are with it, yeah.
Sounds good.
Absolutely with it. All right, here we go. Track 1, intro. Let's go. Bamboozled. DJ Pandamonium and Ty Healy.
Panda and the healer. It's the Panda and the healer. Panda and the healer.
It's the wild one. Kamikaze pilot, you ain't found none. Bombing on squads like this is Ice Cube and 9-1.
It's the Panda and the healer. It's the Panda and the healer.
Pandamonium, the zone we in is mad. It's like halogens with sodium. We watch them all react.
It's the Panda and the healer. Panda and the healer.
It's the wild one. Kamikaze pilot, you ain't found none. Bombing on squads like this is Ice Cube and 9-1.
It's the Panda and the healer. It's the Panda and the healer.
Oh, shit. Your head's nodding so hard that you got scoliosis.
Introduction.
Yo, the intro right off the break. I'm just gonna tell you, Panda, you listening to what you did with bass on this project had me like, oh, I got work to do. Yeah, you got some nice bass lines played up in here. You really chopped some nice bass, bro.
Thank you very much, man. Yeah, this intro, as per, whenever I make a project, I'm you know, from the old school, so I've always got to make an intro at the very least. So yeah, I had fun making this one, taking bits from other like previous collaborations I've done with Ty. I think some of the samples from there, one was from the Drop Cypher, the Drop 40 MC Cypher, and another one was from our Long Year EP, if I remember correctly. But yeah, so thank you, man. I appreciate that. The bass, I must admit, I've been a big fan of the bass recently. Like yeah, effing with those bass lines, man. And yeah, you know, very, very low end driven, isn't it? So it's, you know,
Yeah,
That shit. And when you sent that back, I was like, yo, holy shit. Like, that was like, you caught me by surprise, you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, dirty.
thank
And
you,
you
man.
know,
Thank you.
low key as well. I didn't actually tell you this, Panda. It was like one of like a bucket list thing for me as a rapper was can't wait to hear my voice as the sample cut. You know what I mean? Because normally you hear like Big L and them guys. You know what I mean? So it's like I was like, oh shit, it's official tissue. You know what I mean? So that was like you ticked off a kid Christmas list one there. So thank you, man.
Oh, you're welcome, man.
yeah. Those guitar chops spoke to me too, like the way you placed and sprinkled those in there, the little that worked for me. And the way you brought Ty's voice in too, it gave a great little preview of how loose he was going to get. Like I could see after you mentioned Dirty as old Dirty as somebody you were listening to at the time. I know this wasn't something that was. Doesn't sound like something that was influenced by Dirty, but I could definitely hear the same freedom, the same level of just free flow, just that willing to be experimental and be different, like the tone of your voice and the passion in your voice. Yeah, so it's definitely a perfect setup for what's about to come.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, ready for number 2?
Yeah, all ready for number 2, man. We've set the tone off. Let's bamboozle them.
All right, here we go. Number 2. I want to say the name of the track before I went too far. Oh, we got Damon coming on. Let's hold on for Damon to come on. Say what up to him real quick.
All right, Damon.
Yo, what up, D?
Damon Duchamp.
Yeah, there you go. Get you with the unmute, bro. I don't know, for some reason everybody's coming in muted. Peace. What up, Chief?
Peace. What's going on, y'all?
Peace,
How's
peace.
everybody doing?
Doing
All right.
Yeah.
Pandamonium. Ty, what's going on? Kareem. You.
Peace,
All right.
peace.
Yeah, I'm about to drop, fellas. But, it was a pleasure chopping it up with y'all, man. We'll definitely connect soon, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, sir. All right, peace, fellas.
Peace. Thanks for coming, Chief. Appreciate it.
Peace.
Yeah. So D, what's up, man? Happy
All
Saturday.
right.
Came just in time, man. We were just getting ready hit the gas, man. We were just getting ready to play track 2. We played the intro just a second ago.
Okay.
We're about to hit the gas. Ty Healy, this is Damon Deshawn. Damon's got a project with somebody from across the pond over there that he just dropped last month, as a matter of fact. With Luke Strange. Where's Luke from again?
Yeah.
Luke.
Project.
Okay, dope.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, man. Is that out yet? Dropping that soon.
They
Yeah,
dropped
it's out over there.
It's out on
Last
Google, if I'm correct.
Yeah, mate. Like we had this program back in the day called Channel U, and it was like it was kind of like MTV based, like back in the day. And I remember the song. It was called "Injury Time," I believe it was called. And Luke, he had one of the hardest. It was like a posse cut, kind of like on some Triumph shit. And I remember his verse was just, it was ridiculous. Like everyone kind of killed it, but I remember like that was a really fire verse. So big up, and you know what I mean? That's kind of crazy. Wow, that's mad.
Wow, that's funny. That's good to know.
I've been meaning to ask about that this whole time we've been on the call. I'm glad I didn't see a place to speak on it. So D, you coming in was the perfect timing for it, man. It's a four song EP that you did with him, right?
Yeah, Michelangelo. Yeah, all produced by Luke, you know. And think we working on something. Actually, he has something already over there that he's putting together. Put me and him to feature on. So yeah.
Good
dude. Yeah, Luke he's a memorable kind of guy, like a verse. I can hear that. A nice posse cut.
Nice. Yeah, nice, bro.
All right, so here we go. We're going into track 2. Track 2 is called Finesse. So here we go. Track 2 from Bamboozled by DJ Pandamonium and Ty Healy, Finesse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something different. That bamboozled. 2-stepping, we're finessing. 2-step, it's finesse. Lady, 2-stepping, we're finessing. 2-step, it's finesse. I wanna be in the Caribbean on the Gabbana, eating Callaloo festivals, brown through chicken, rice and pea by the sea as the sun sets. Sipping a bag juice, topped up with some Guinness fruits and color as your sundress. Nothing but finesse, only reason for the best. A paradise to paradise and wine from the stress. There ain't nothing but finessing, perfect time stepping. A moonlight dinner with her in a bright sundress, like James Bond on an island with a femme fatale. She loves me not. I was picking them petals, landed on a yes. I'm happy to confess, put my best foot forward, step into you in that sundress. With a flower in your hair, pheromones in the air. Not the room, cause we're kissing on the stairs. But there's no rush to lust, I see your mind undressed. Besides, you look so fine in that sundress. 2-stepping, yo, we're finessing. Yo, 2-step, yo, it's finesse. Yo, 2-stepping, yo, we're finessing. Yo, 2-step, yo, it's finesse. 2-stepping, yo, we're finessing. Yo, 2-step, yo, it's finesse. 2-stepping, yo, we're finessing. Yo, 2-step, yo, it's finesse. You ain't gotta be Latina to be my señorita. Shots of tequila, I got to meet you. Ain't gotta be Latina to be my señorita. Shots of tequila, I got to meet you. Ain't gotta be Latina to be my señorita. Shots of tequila, I got to meet you. Ain't gotta be Latina to be my señorita. Shots of tequila, I got to meet you. Slow dance, we toe tap to slow jams and throwbacks. Romance, grown man, hold hands, strolling down on the beachfront, sand in our feet. Look, the bar's not far if you're feeling margaritas. That's the holiday spirit. Had to holler these lyrics. You give me strength like Popeye with spinach, olive oil, rhythm with the motion. Anti-clockwise, but time feels frozen. We live for these moments, not kids, no, we grown up. Pull up to the restaurant, what to order? By the way, you look gorgeous. I think we'll have desperados rather than Coronas. Moonlit dinner is very much our vibe. Temp still warm, we should eat outside. The house band's jamming in the distance. Perfect backdrop, we'll dance when we're fin. You ain't gotta be Latina to be my señorita. Shots of tequila, I've got to meet you. Ain't gotta be Latina to be my señorita. Shots of tequila, I've got to meet you. Ain't gotta be Latina to be my señorita. Shots of tequila, I've got to meet you. Ain't gotta be Latina to be my señorita. Shots of tequila, I've got to meet you. BEAUTIFUL. Girl, you're beautiful. My bro Nate logo hit me on my cell. Told him I was choosing you. Been around the block, seen around a lot. Confess my love on the mountaintop. Cat this view is high for. You look, you ain't shy for. Love how your pretty nose crinkles when you smile to show off them dimples. Two-stepping, we're finessing. Two-step, this finesse. 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 You ain't gotta be Latina to be my señorita. Shots of tequila, I've got to meet you. Ain't gotta be Latina to be my señorita. Shots of tequila, I've got to meet you. Ain't gotta be Latina to be my señorita. Shots of tequila, I've got to meet you. Ain't gotta be Latina to be my señorita. Shots of tequila, I've got to meet you. Da 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 da. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. Trying to do that big fun shit. You know that one? Something like la da 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 da.
Yes, that's a smooth one.
All right.
Smooth.
Very smooth.
Bro, what you did on those drums, man, you got crazy with those drums, man. I love seeing the breakdowns on the drums and the rolls on the drums and the texture of the sample. I mean, how soft that flute was and how dusty it still was, and how you could hear the little hats in the background kind of just dragging their way through there. And the muffle, when we got down to muffling down to just the bottom end, it reminded me of sampling back in the 90s, sampling people like Henry Mancini or whatever, man. So that's, yeah.
Wow. See, as an artist, I don't hear the sample. What's the sample? I hear that nostalgia, whatever that is, it sounds like a new way of hearing a old tune. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. What was the sample? What's the sample in it?
Oh man, now you're asking me.
Oh, okay. Wait,
I know I said out loud anyway, huh?
Yeah. I go through so many samples every single day. It's like I need to start writing. Obviously, I know them. I've got them written down, but yeah, I haven't got them written down up here.
I'm the same.
But yeah, no, that was every now and then I like to go on I don't know, how do I put it? Like that kind of, almost like kind of bossa nova-y kind of, you know, where you can, like the two-stepping, man. That was perfect, perfect accompaniment. Like obviously Ty married that beat perfectly, man. I'll hand it over to him with regards to explain the rest, but yeah, like
I say, that beat in particular, that was definitely like that one sums up this Bamboozled thing. Because when he sent it, I was like, oh, you're doing that? Okay, then let me see where I could take it. You know what I mean? And it's funny because one of my other songs kind of like started messing around with that bossa nova sample, so that sound. Sorry. So when he sent that, it was kind of like, yo, that is a mad pocket to hit. Like it takes a certain kind of flip to that. So I was like, I was almost there was a couple of things actually, because Panda, around that time, weren't you writing a song or a verse for your missus, for your lady, right? I'm sure it was around that time. So that's so subject wise, I was thinking about that, but also I was thinking about my girlfriend. We were in Thailand in 2021, which was crazy because that was not the time traveling and shit. So, but we ended up moving out there for a month just because we had to get out of England. So it was just like, it was like almost like a reset button for us. And it was like, yo, you know what, man? Shit, we need some step in, like dance. Just forget about all this COVID bullshit. Let's just exist. Little like, yo, the sun's out, we got the drinks, like we're good, you know what I mean? And it's like I feel good. And I was like, yo, that needs to be in a recording somewhere. So yeah, so shout out to Harley Blue, my girl. She was definitely a big inspiration for that one. And like I say, it's so funny because I was saying before you got on, Dave, when we do our videos, we get a lot of women. And it's like, I don't know if that's, I mean, I don't really consider myself no pretty boy like that. So I'm assuming music, right? I'm like, shit. Like that, if they're always there, it'd be nice if we had a couple of joints where we could play them, and then the girls would be like, "Yo, yes,
pretty boy, but I get ugly with your lanes."
Right. That intro before that track is so hardcore that to go to that on track 2, that is Bamboozled, and it's like, oh, I think it was. We're going.
Okay.
I thought you was going in one direction, but yeah,
man.
Gotcha. Very good.
I was going to ask about the directions. I'm sorry, D, were you about to go, bro? Okay. I was going to ask you about the arrangement. Like, who chose the arrangement, made the plans for that? Like, who took us left with that?
So, Panda kind of sent the beat. He was kind of like a skeleton of what you hear today. And it was like the way, and like I was saying before, like I really wanted to approach this thing like more on a songwriter tip. So I was thinking about like pre-choruses, choruses, bridges, knowing to do, if you're going to do 2 16-bar verses, you know, nowadays, I don't know how you guys feel, but the third verse is almost like, people are almost like haven't got the attention span to hear 3 16s. Like I wish they did. And sometimes I think, fuck them, we'll do that anyway. But on that song, I was like, right, we're going to hit 2 verses. And then the third verse is almost going to be like a bridge within itself. So it was like more like an 8. And I was thinking it's going to be a callback to the pre-chorus, because there's almost 2 hooks on that joint. There's the 2-step in, but then there's the you ain't gotta be Latina to be my señorita. It was almost like the way I was kind of like thinking of it, I was almost like, let's like really write it as if an R&B singer was gonna do it, except we're just gonna be doing the raps. And I feel like Panda, hearing that, really went on some mad scientist shit, and like he like followed the verses, like you say, some of the drum breaks as I'm saying certain words, that when the flow gets a bit like da 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 da, he'll drop the drums to like follow it along, and I was blown away. You really evolved, you know what I mean? So Panda, salute to you, bro, because again, you made a boy song sound hard, you know what I mean? So,
I mean, structure-wise, I sent it to you how you, like you said, how you hear it today. It was the sample, very, you know, this is one of those beats that was very sample driven. You know, me, I'd like to chop up a lot of stuff. This was one of those samples that when I came across it, I heard it and I fell in love with it instantly. And I was like, I'm not even really messing with it too much. I'm just going to loop it up almost, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you know what I mean, I like to keep it interesting. So like you was mentioning a minute ago, Shah, like, you know, I'd start off with it kind of like, you know, full normal frequency, so to speak. And then, you know, every now and then, you know, dim it out a bit. Like you say, a bit like how like Q-Tip and people like that used to produce like back in the day and stuff, you know, like so, you know, that using that filter to filter it out just to like, you know, for break it up for like, you know, hook and verse and whatnot. Yeah. So that's how I structured it anyway, sent it over to him. And then when he sent me the vocals back, if I remember rightly, I said to Ty, I said, do you want me to like keep it structurally how it is? Or did you want me to, do you know what I mean? And Ty was like, no, like, you know, I've wrote it to
that's
how
what
you structured it, so to speak. So like, you know, I was like, word, that's cool. And all I really did to, you know, apart from mixing and mastering, thank you. Sorry, that's my wife Stacey. She won't come on camera though because she's in the snood. She just bought me in a drink. But
shout out to tequila. Nice to meet you.
But I was So what was it? So all I really did from that point was, like you say, was with the drum rolls and things like that. Just kind of marrying the beat as much as possible to his crazy ass flow. So yeah.
And Ty, you mentioned it like halfway through. I kind of lengthwise, I was expecting it to end.
Right?
I was thinking something to drink. I'm like, I'm gonna get back on camera before it ends. But that extra it helps us sing along so you feel better about the song.
Yeah. Like I say,
I like that.
Yeah, man, that shit's kind of missing, man. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Deep into like this like Spotify, Apple Music thing, but I've been like doing quite a lot of research into it. Apparently, a play is 30 seconds of the song, of the audio. So if your track is like 3 minutes long, you get it was streamed once after 30 seconds of play. That's why a lot of songs today, they're like a minute and a half, because their mentality is, right, well, we only need 30 seconds to consider stream one. And it's like people are predetermined to hearing songs around that 3.5 minute mark. So then you're naturally going to listen to it again because it's only a minute, and that becomes 2 streams. And it's like, you're almost, it's almost like some con man shit. You know what I mean? It's like, because it's all about numbers. So it's like, fuck the art side of it. We know that they'll listen to it twice a bit shorter. But then it's just like, come on, man. Like, what? I remember, like, some shit used to, back in the day, man, certain tracks would be like 5, 6, 7 minutes even if you had to. You know what I mean? Like, this is hip hop, man. By the rules, we do shit. So thank you for like
I always say with hip hop, there's the scene and there's the industry. You know what I mean? And the industry is effed up right now, most definitely. The scene's still intact. You know what I mean? Like, us guys are you know, and many others across the globe are holding it down. You know what I mean? But yeah, the industry is a different subject, isn't it? Yeah.
Right. Well done. 2 for 2. What was the first track? What was the first track? Just so I know.
First track was the intro. It's
the intro.
Yeah.
Did you play the intro on your DJ show? Is it the one that you played on that hour? Remember you did the hour?
No. On my, you're on about what I started the most recent takeover show with. No. That was a special guest verse from Ty that I remixed. You've not heard the intro. You missed out on that one.
Oh, there is, yeah. So you did sample that though, Panda, for the intro of this, right? That guest verse I did for you.
That's yes. That's right. Yeah. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. I was trying to think of that. Yeah. It was from that one. Yeah, man. Your head nodding so hard that you got scoliosis. Yeah.
Wow. All right, Ty, man.
Well said there, Ty. Well corrected.
Yeah.
So, y'all ready for the third?
Let's do it.
Yes, please. Yes, sir.
All right, let's go, yo. This is called Tortoiseshell Frames. I love the title first and foremost. I'm not gonna say anything else till after we hear, but that
I've got my tortoiseshell, well, kind of tortoiseshell frames on, especially.
I think mine are in the car, man. I'm not gonna.
I want to hear more about that after we hear this one, man. Here we go. Tortoiseshell Frames.
Oh my gosh. Yo, let me take my jacket off right now because this is just too hot. It's so hot, it reminds me of the Vegas Strip. I'm recording live from England, but man, I feel like I need to put my shades on for this. Get my tortoiseshell frames, this is bamboozling. Gold chain, hanging down one time. I'ma just talk my shit. Talk that shit. Panda on the beat as usual. And you're about to be bamboozled. This some real slapper titty shit. I'll be blunt, this is fire, so get the Phillies lit. I wrote this in my tortoiseshell frames, baby. Change pace, no race, so I'ma spit it slow. You're moving like farmers without no animal. You never heard the goat. Purple tape, ghost ray chain, yep, the Cuban links. Before that, cubic zirconia earrings. $9.99 from Warren James, no shame. G fake as fuck, them studs had me stunting daily. If we had Instagram in 06, all my pics, baggy jeans, waist size 36, sagging off my arse, them shits was too big. Still call you niggas backwards. Did you catch it? All black Air Force, so shit's getting tragic. Echo Unlimited and Averex jackets. Gold chain, tortoise shell on the frame. Here we go, you know there's money to gain. Gold chain, tortoise shell on the frame. Pretty boy, but I get ugly on you lame. Gold chain, tortoise shell on the frame. Panda beats, bamboozle the brain. Gold chain, tortoise shell on the frame. Raw shit like I'm Big Daddy Kane. Hey yo. Mortal man up in the Garden of Eden. Avoid the snakes in the grass. No red apple I'm eating. No sword formed against me shall prosper. The pen is more mighty and I'm wielding it proper. Hear the I gotcha. So dark I'm Schwartz, nigga. Get back to the chopper. Such a villain, Dutch and Dylan got a grip on the power. The white powder or the fire flower. In the flash, your first second is your final hour. So savage, I got the guava salsa. Spitting crystallized ghost chilies on the album. Got your Rapunzel dropping hair from the tower. She want the Ric Flair Space Mountain. I'm mountain, I'm out in a minute. Turn around and I pivot. Spin the world on my finger. Harlem Globetrotter with it. Came a long way from rocking LRG in 07. Legend, I spit heaven. Gold chain, tortoise shell on the frame. Here we go, you know there's money to gain. Gold chain, tortoise shell on the frame. Pretty boy, but I get ugly on you lame. Gold chain, tortoise shell on the frame. Panda beats, bamboozle the brain. Gold chain, tortoise shell on the frame. Raw shit like I'm Big Daddy Kane. For my artistic affiliates, born black, brilliant, content creators, day-to-day diligent, energy, empaths, freedom fight familiar, go-getters and heartfelt heroes, healers and independent individuals, journey for justice. KFC kills us, life lessons like a mother. Money never needs you, it's often opposite. Power and pussy parallel, quantum physics. Rizzlers rolled, substance sold, truth told, understood or unsure. Victories on video, I rapped whack rappers. No hugs and kiss like X and O, I just spit like X and Hove. You youngers still sleep, catch a whole lot of Z's. Do this with ease, like my ABCs. Count my cheese and sip a herbal green tea. Panda on the beat, I'm just talking my grease. Gold chain, tortoise shell on the frame. Here we go, you know there's money to gain. Gold chain, tortoise shell on the frame. Pretty boy, but I get ugly on you lame. Gold chain, tortoise shell on the frame. Panda beats, bamboozle the brain. Gold chain, tortoise shell on the frame. Raw shit like I'm Big Daddy Kane.
Mr. Ty Healy, what are you doing to us, sir?
Yeah. You rode that joint. When you talked about having a chop, well, how you said y'all have a shorter tongue. That's an interesting way of saying it. I'm learning that new phrase. But you talked about how we naturally have a slower drawl, I guess, from the US. For you to be able to do like I saw how you stretch words on this one, last one, how you had to do that. Did that take work for you? Did it take practice? Did you have to really like develop those styles, or was it natural and easy for you?
No, I won't even front, man. It was definitely like, I would say maybe like 2-3 years ago. Like, I don't know how it affected you guys, but like that wave of like Griselda kind of up. Like I always had love for like Wes anyway, because I kind of heard some shit from him like back in like 2014, but they really like blew up, like kind of became figureheads for that like sample drumless sample shit and like the really slow flows. Conway as well obviously had the gunshot in his mouth, so very slow and stuff. And I remember like I always loved that style, but again, I didn't want to violate because again, the short tongue with the British, like it can sound corny. So I definitely was like on some when Panda sent that one, I was like, all right, I'm gonna really take time and like really trying to work that elongate certain words and do it in that way. And it was funny because it was so slow. Again, I was thinking about that whole should you do a third verse thing, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, like let's go completely left with it. And it's like so funny because just hearing that back, I actually forgot like that third verse. Like I wrote it. Earlier we were talking about like don't sleep on the ABC rap, and it's like that verse is literally like it's like a couple of the words are A's, a couple of the words are B's, a couple of C's.
Yeah. I caught that.
I'm kind of impressed by myself. I was like, yeah, all right, bro.
And it was so timely because we said the ABC rapper thing early on, and I heard you say ABC 1, 2, 3. I was like, oh shit, here you go.
Yeah,
you got it.
Yeah. Man, do you know, I'll be real, I don't really remember writing that. Like, this is for my artist affiliates, born black, brilliant content creators, day-to-day diligent. Like, I must have been listening to Papoose or some shit. I don't know, man.
That's funny, man. What about the title? Whose title was that?
Go ahead.
Who titled it? I don't know. That might have been me. I tell you, I'll give you the backstory of that one. I just came back from Las Vegas. My girl, shout out Harley Blue. She's working on some music with Illa J. Actually, they're actually on their second album right now. It's out right now. So yo, if you guys got time, Illa J, Harley Blue record, shit's banging. Hideout is the first album, and yeah, we were in Las Vegas, and I swear like that was the second time I've been to America. Actually, I went to Vegas again earlier in the year, but I definitely like the music. Like I don't know, man. Out there in them big cars and shit, we ain't got cars out here. Like it shit hits, man. I was definitely like feeling myself. Like we was riding around. I was like, yo, it's nothing. You know what I mean? So I definitely like I bought those tortoiseshell frames from the strip, and I was like, yeah, man, I'm here now. Like. So yeah, that was definitely inspired by you guys. So funny that you mentioned me like using that like slow, like stretching out the words thing. That was definitely because I was out there and like just taking in the vibes, man. Shit was real. So yeah, that was a big one.
Tight, man. That's tight.
Yeah, that's a good chord. That's another feel good one. Like you mentioned Griselda, but I can totally hear. I would think that Conway would like that because that's like it's a special type of niche for him. Like you said, like for Griselda, they say shit even in their chorus. Conway don't use too many choruses, but stuff like that, he would appreciate it. I would think he want to be featured on that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you might be busy, but forget.
But shit like.
Go ahead.
But shit like this hits them. You know, shit like that would hit them. Like, what? Like, I mean, the reference to the throwback of we didn't have Instagram before, the sagging and the niggas when you said the backward shit. You know what I'm saying? That shows appreciation for what you're doing that'll make a motherfucker stop what they doing to say, I'll fuck with Ty because he a real one. You dig what I'm saying? So,
and you know what's crazy? I don't talk too much gangster shit, like, because it's like I'm gonna be real with you guys, man. Like over here, like my pops was really deep in the game, man, and that shit like really affected me. You know what I mean? So I was definitely more. I don't know. I might have been more like a kind of a Nas kind of guy, like looking out the window, seeing shit was going on. But I was like, nah, man, that shit ain't really for me. So it's funny because them kind of beats, you kind of want that like sleazy crud talk. You know what I mean? But I was just trying to like finding a way to sound like that, but still being real to who I am as a person. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you heard that. You know what I mean? That means a lot, honestly, because
for sure. But hey, we ain't gonna spend too much time. But see, but stuff like this, shit like this, would give Conway an out. You dig what I'm saying? Like he needs an out. He's screaming help too because they crap. Benny's stuck in that mode a little bit. You dig what I'm saying? And to add on, I think it was from one of your shit. You saying that it's like one of those tracks that you had on that. I think the one you dropped it was like all your old stuff, like something from a stash. You said something. Somebody found my stash. Something.
Oh yeah, you found my stash. Shit. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you found my stash.
You found it. Oh yo, amazing. Yo, salute my G. Yo.
But you got a track where you talking about that. I think it was like you were saying stuff about like for kids not to follow that and do this and that and the other, and how it affected you. You were talking about how that life affected you. You know what I'm saying? So,
hey man, I feel like with this hip hop shit, man, a lot of people really do like, you know, I don't know, man. It's so weird. Like people almost feel like to be a rapper, you have to like put some work in on the streets, and it's like, come on, man. Again, it's that tunnel vision shit. It's like, yo, that's important and that shit's real. If that's your experience, I'm definitely not gonna be a person to judge, and you know that shit's affected me the same way. But I just feel like, you know, creativity is creativity. There is other ways you can attack this shit. It's about being real, right? The concept is like being what's real to me is my portrayal of like life and where we're at. So yeah, man, I don't know, man. I try and lead by example. You know what I mean? That's as good as I can do. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Well done, man.
Thank you, man. Yeah. Really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. And Panda, man, the way you started with the hi-hats, I was like, "Ooh, what's coming? What's about to happen?" It was a dope little stutter step right there.
Thank you, man. Yeah, this is one of two beats on this project where when I said I went a kind of a little bit outside my box a bit more, you know, got a little bit more, you know, a bit slower, a bit more kind of double timey, but at the same time keeping it like raw, organic, boom bappy. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, you still got the stabs, the you know, and what Ty came with it, like on every single track on this EP, just blew my mind. So yeah, man.
Those stabs.
Panda sitting over there with treats.
ZD?
I said Panda sitting over there with treats. I mean, I can see how this must be fun to you. Like, man, that's got to be love. Like the
oh man, there's nothing better than just getting to work with.
Yeah.
You know, Ty being obviously one of so many talented people that I get to work with doing this ish. You know, it's a thing in itself. You know, like I'm the first one that gets to hear that ish, and before I even get to touch it, and like every time I got those, you know, those files back from Ty, I was not disappointed in the slightest. I knew he had something special going, you know. So yeah,
it's a treat, man. At what point did you guys know that you were doing an EP? Like, was it after you did all 7, or did you guys do more than the 7? Was it halfway through?
I think it was when we got to about like track 3, maybe.
Yeah, it might have been that one, right?
Yeah,
it might have been. I think I started saying the name Bamboozled. I think that might have been the one. Maybe.
Yeah.
It might have been that one or a different one where it was like, this is kind of a thing. I can't remember how we came up with the name. I think it was just in the chats, wasn't it? We were just talking.
Yeah. You came up with it from what I remember, but it was It was like, everything was just so organic and natural. It all just kind of just happened, you know, and it was just one of those things where you kind of like both of us clearly just kind of went in the zone, made it, and then just kind of sat back and were like, this is dope as you know, so, yeah, man. Bless, man.
And so right on tune with hip hop, like with the 50 years of hip hop, is nostalgic. It makes me want to get like a big jersey and some baggy jeans and some
man.
some lug boots.
Put some 20s on your whip.
One of them,
right?
I love that line at the end. That came a long way from rocking LRG in 07. Legend, I spit heaven. It's like, man, you fuck off. Like, just the best way to end that was it was perfect.
At the beginning of the verse, there was like loads of like religious references. I can't really remember why I was kind of going at that point. And then when I got to that bit, I'll be just being full real with you guys. I feel like we're kind of like peeling the onion back a little bit. Like that was one of them lines where it's like, I knew I wanted to say I rocked LLG in 07. And then it was one of them like, shit, how do I end the verse? And it was like, I wouldn't normally just go, legend, I spit heaven, full stop. Like it was almost like,
right.
it works, man. It works, and like I said, especially with how the beat's constructed, you know, because and the reference to the sword swoosh. You know what I mean? It's like it's got that kind of that chop to the snare, and you know, like
yeah, okay.
Perfect.
Wow.
Yeah, I think there's a couple parts, and I think it was this one. I heard a couple more parts in there where you followed him with the drum pattern too, right? You kind of play with the drum pattern when around certain phrases.
Yeah, the Arnold Schwarzenegger "Get Back to the Chopper," and when I was putting it together and you know doing my tinkering, I don't know why it struck me that I was like, F with the hi hats a sec, like, make it sound like a chopper just for a second, you know, and then come back in, you know. So yeah.
People are paying attention, man. So those details are not wasted, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate that because, I spend a lot of time on those finer details. So when they get spotted,
I know how it is, man. Yeah, I got a million of those too. I'm like, yo, nobody said anything about this little piece here, though, man. They just said said, it'd be cranked, and that's it.
But you know what? Give me more. They probably do fuck it though, but they probably know that you know. So it's almost like what's understood doesn't need to be said.
You know, I mean, like this is my favorite thing to do, man. Is talk about music and like really talk about it. This is my favorite pastime, man. So anytime I get a chance to like really engage on something, I'm going in, man. I love this, man. And Panda, thank you for bringing this to us, bro. This is I think this is our first project preview on the show ever. So you guys cracked the cherry here too.
Honored, man.
Yeah.
And
I don't know how you hear that shot, but you're in your ears, bro.
To be honest with you, whenever, because obviously I'll make a lot of projects and stuff, and I've always wanted some kind of like project, whatever project is, album, listening party. But I'm a hermit. So this seemed like the best alternative. Do you know what I mean? Let's do it online so I can do it in the comfort of my living room.
It makes sense. I agree with you. And D, you said me listening to detail like that. Y'all, I depend on y'all when it comes to listening to lyrics, because lyrics I usually catch on the second or third time around. Because the first time I'm listening to, like Ty, you heard me comment on your I'm listening to the MC's voice the first time around. Normally my ear detects it like another instrument, so I hear the melody and the vibe and the flow more than I do the actual content of the lyrics. So having MCs on the line makes such a big difference for me, man.
But I would say that to me is really important. Me and my girl, we talk about this a lot. We call it layer one, because I feel like, especially if you're doing like more niched underground stuff, like a lot of a lot of people like obsessed with like, yo, my bars, like you gotta hear the da, and that's cool, but like layer one is so important. Because she's a singer, like I've really learned a lot from like what work and stuff, because it's like, yo, if layer one does it sound nice? Because if it doesn't matter how lyrical you are, how like dense your bars are. If on layer one I ain't fucking it's not to the ear, I'm not even gonna give you the grace to then listen back and go, what did he say? That layer one is super important, man. So the fact that you're even taking it and you're responding to it positively, that tells me we've done the job and we've got that layer one sounding nice. So that shit's
Yo, you hit me, man. I like the way you break that down, man, because I always said for MCs, it's content, it's cadence, and it's the voice for me. And just made it even easier, thinking in terms of layers or whatever. It's a 3-layer burrito for me. I don't know if anybody else has something else that I'm missing between content, cadence, and voice, but I'd love to hear what else.
I've got to absolutely agree with you there, Shah, man. That's like, obviously, apart from, aside from, content aside, like, that's one of the biggest grabbers for me with an MC is the voice and the cadence and whatnot, which is obviously why I love working with artists like Ty and guys like, Demands, Deshaun, you know what I mean? And Kareem, Rashid. You've all got these voices and these cadences. Like I say, the content obviously is sick, but like content aside, it's just, the voice, I especially as a producer, there's nothing better than the content and having a voice and a cadence that kind of I don't know if I'm describing it properly, but you get what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying.
And Shot, like that kind of ties into like how I'm always like, I don't like the way my voice sounds, so I'm not running with this yet. Like I'll wait a year. I'll sit on a verse for a year until my voice is right. You know what I mean? Like, because it's important for me to sound a certain way, like in my whether it's my delivery or whatever. Like right now, I sound like sentient mucus, so I don't want to be on the mic. You know what I mean?
John, do you ever like voice note your raps and stuff? Like this has really started to help me. What I've started doing is like before I record, I do it. I voice note it on the phone, and I spend like a couple of hours, might even spend a couple of days, just listening to it, and then go like you say, if it's like, yo, my voice, it's not translating like what I want, like, because you have it in your head, right? You have like your MC voice in your head, like so when you pen some shit, it sound like this. You lay it and you record it. You're like, that's not how it sounded up here. So for me, like what now is I record the voice notes on my phone. If I pulled my phone out now, like literally I could scroll down. We're talking about thousands, like literally like verse Panda beat for verse 1, take 26 before I've even committed to the booth. Because by the time I get into the booth, I don't want to read it. I want to just act it out and just be that, you know what I mean? With knowing that the take I got on the voice note is how I want to deliver it. So like that really helps me. So yeah, I'm sure you got your own techniques, but yeah, that's a good one. You know what I mean?
That's the first I've heard that, man, and that's a dope way of doing it, I suppose, as well. When you think about it, you know, I mean, as you might know, I mean, I MC very part time, very part time, but when I do that, it's just I just type a memo on my phone, so that's a good idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Ty, you letting out the secrets, because I do the same thing. I never told nobody.
My mic is right there, so
yeah, that's why I go to the studio for 4 hours. I can get like 5 songs done because I already heard it in my head over and over. I know I was gonna go boom, boom, boom. But yeah, that's definitely. I never thought about it though, as far as the voice sounding, because some songs do come out and I'm like, damn, didn't sound that way. But yeah, now that I think, like Shah said, you said layer 1, you got an interesting way of understanding and like the research you're doing. It's giving you some feedback because you sound excellent almost every time. Yo, you know, you can't do no wrong at this point. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man, and with the a lot of your philosophies and your approaches, man, they're worthy of sharing and teaching some skills, because that voice note one is another genius one. Like for me, I figure it out when I'm in front of the mic, but that's because I have the convenience of having it here at home. But and I'm like Panda, I barely get on the mic, so it's always a struggle for me every time because I'm always rusty. So I'm there. I'm spending all that voice note time right here with studio.
Word up.
But speaking of you know, the concept of you sharing your techniques and skills, have you heard of Pendulum Inc. before?
Pendulum Inc. No, what's Pendulum?
Mickey Fax School for Lyricism.
Oh yeah, oh no, I thought with Fax. Yeah. Do you know what? I've not dived into that. I was watching him and Lupe's back and forth stuff. I remember they were doing like almost like these masterclasses on Instagram Live and stuff. Like that was like. I think they were. I think one of it might have been Mickey was considering like hopping back into the battle rap scene, and obviously that's a whole other thing because that's mostly a cappella shit. So like they were talking about certain techniques for writing and stuff, and I do appreciate the battle rap shit, and I have actually done it as well. I've done it in the UK, done the battle rap stuff. I was undefeated, just saying. But yeah.
All right, salute, champ. All right, champ.
Yeah, being real though, like because it's a cappella battles, man. I love. And you know, sometimes I'm like, yo, it's like slam poetry. Me and another guy writing poems to each other. Like, I don't know, man. Like, yeah, it's a bit weird. Like, I'm glad we're back just on the music. You know what I mean? Like, shit's important. So
I heard somebody describe it like that too. Some dude said, "So you get up on stage and you say poems to each other, huh?"
Yep.
You call that a battle? I heard somebody break it down like that.
And you know what's crazy? A lot of them guys can't rap to beats. And like they literally go, "Oh, I'm a battle rapper. I don't do that music thing." And I'm like, "But then what's the point? Like, you know, you're gonna be in front of me and go, I'm the best rapper ever. I'm the best rapper ever, but you can't rap. Like rhythm and poetry, bro. Like it's not rap."
Wow.
You know.
Never heard it broken down for rhythm and poetry too. So another ding in your column, bro. That's dope. I had another thought, man, and I'm losing it. I guess I lost it, but I did want to just give one more piece of props on this tortoiseshell joint for Panda. You called it the stabs. When I heard the stabs, I was thinking that it was like a DJ transforming almost with the fader on the sound. So that was a dope part, a dope element to the beat, man.
Thank you, man. And again, so glad that you spotted that, because that is almost like the kind of mentality that I go at a lot of beats, is because I was a turntablist / DJ first before I even started messing with beats. So I was always kind of used to putting battle routines together, juggle routines, you know, and chopping shit up like that. So I do apply a lot of that kind of knowledge base, so to speak, to my production as well. So I'm glad you picked up on that.
Oh, damn,
Thank you, man.
Absolutely.
There's got to be a huge advantage, because I mean, listening to that takeover show, I was waiting for you said at the top of the show, you said it's gonna be a tribute to Guru. And so I was like listening, and then how it started off, I was like, man, what's gonna be his first Guru song that he plays? But he transitioned it from, you know, just like from regular, what are we, regular? You know what I'm saying? From hip hop, new stuff, right to Guru. And the first one you played, I forgot what it was, but it went well. I was like, oh, this is the Guru. You said, all right, we're gonna go take you here. But it sounded so consistent with the new shit. So
Yeah,
that's a huge advantage, man. You got like two things going on in your head. So well done, King.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that, dude. Yeah, really do, man. Like I said, the DJ and the turntables and stuff was the first passion. And, you know, I mean, I always wanted to make beats while I was doing that stuff, but never decided to apply it until later on. But yeah, so it is an advantage, absolutely. And that's exactly how I tend to, like, you know, structure a lot of my beats and tracks and stuff. You'll always find like a lot of my joints I produce will have like something that the DJ can chop up at the start, you know, that kind of you know, those are the kind of tracks that I used to love as a DJ and a turntablist. You know, if I had two copies of something and it started off with a dun, you know, oh yeah, I can chop that up and do this. So
setting them up, giving them some tools. Yeah, because a lot of DJs don't produce.
Being a DJ is a cheat code.
You know what? Actually, I was thinking the other day, because you know, obviously I've honed in on the producing so much for however many years now, and when I still do DJ, but like when I go back to it properly, because that's at some stage in the future, I'm going to go back to it properly and go back to gigging and doing the turntables and stuff and all that. When I do finally go back to that, I'm going to have like such an arsenal of my introduction. Do you know what I mean? I've you know, it'd be like finding time to put other people's shit in. It will all be my stuff. Do you know what I mean? I could do just a 2-3 hour set of just all Pandamonium produced stuff. Do you know what I mean? And so yeah,
and a party would be great, man.
And a party,
produced party. That'd be dope.
Fire. That's dope.
Yeah. I missed one thing, and I was talking about the things that I look for in MC. One other thing I forgot. So I said content, voice, and cadence, but also character or charisma. Like there's got to be that element too to really grab and keep somebody's attention. I don't know if there's any others, man. I'd love to hear other people's lists on that stuff. Y'all ready to get on the next one?
Absolutely, man. Let's do this.
Track 4, kick around.
Rhyme. Go. Take it in another direction.
Yeah, another bamboozle.
Perfection when I kick a rhyme. This shit is hip hop. Mic in my hand, making heads bang. Perfection when I kick a rhyme. This shit is hip hop.
This is frightening. It's Buster Douglas busting up Mike Tyson. Your busters must have forgot your Balrog and I'm Bison. Turn lemons to lemonade, limelight shining on a Friday night. Fly a kite, lightning bears a striking resemblance to your shocked facial expression. I've been frank with you. I don't like your piss poor, poo poo, stank attitude. You must have not known the magnitude of how this concludes. Clues, shit sticky like anal sex lube. She loved me in the morning after another Quaalude. Grapefruit slice in my glass with ice. Paloma tastes nice, looking so Miami Vice in my grey suit. The watch got a laser on top. The dial pulls out, now I got wired for a garage. Rappers about to choke on their own words. Spearing unspared, running through them like Goldberg. Whoopee, Yeah, I've heard all the dread jokes. Book your spine, bust the rhymes, there goes your neck, bro. It went from nodding, now it's off. Now I'm nodding off. Sleeping on your featherweights, your roll pillow soft. Cotton socks, cotton swab, clean out your ears. Say cheers, popping off. Cocktail, muzzle tough, Bronx tail, burn the lot. Oxtail, past the pot. Who let Crazy Mario in the Rasta bar? Well, all I know, your girl going down on the old Brazo. Since Miss Badu said call Tyrone. Friends moving out, wanna blow up my phone. But I'm busy as the busiest businessman. Eating biscotti with cream, screaming Bismillah. Break down the lines of this bohemian rap. Nothing really matters at the end of all that. Sat back, looking at stars like Galileo. Squinting my eyes while biting my nails. To understand life, most tried and failed. I can tell the scope of the universe is a minefield. Try keep my mind filled with useful info. Since a kid I used to look out my window. The moonlight bright like I'm changing into a werewolf, a giant ape, Dragon Ball inspo. I'm saying, feeling strong as monkey's tails. Swinging on the trees, find the blinging all the beats like VCC. This the shit right here. Many trips to IKEA, we are building ideas. Cry tears in the shower, we're raining now. I really rap, I'll explain just how. Hip hop's like a teapot, my pen in my mouth. This is my handle, this is my spout. I'm the mustard margarine, Marmite, I might write in the margins. Severe OCD, but on the contrary, what you see is what you get, like it's written on the tin. Recycled lyrics can go in the brown bin, cause I'm the mustard margarine, Marmite, and some like it. Some feel opposite, awful like popping zips. And just like that, smokers in the back, want more bounce to the ounce like Roger and Zap. Shoulders start to shuffle like a pouncing cat. Claws on the mouse map, trying to find mousetrap on eBay. You won't be bored of the games that we play. We ain't Wii Sports, doubled on the course with the short shorts. Pause, yo, you know this geezer. Pockets tight as Ebenezer, salad Caesar. Better get the feta cheeser, burn the reefer. Since the takeover, it's been EFA.
Perfection when I kick a rhyme. This shit is hip hop. Mic in my hand, making heads bang. Perfection when I kick a rhyme. This shit is hip hop. Perfection when I kick a rhyme. This shit is hip hop. Mic in my hand, making heads bang. Perfection when I kick a rhyme. This shit is hip hop. This shit is hip hop. This shit is hip hop.
Again with the drums, man. You were crazy with the drums, man. You were all over the place with the kicks and the snares, man. You were everywhere with them things, man.
Went ham on that one, man. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ty, you did the same with the styles, man.
Yeah.
All over the place.
I was wondering.
Styles for days, man. Styles for days, man.
Do you know what? That was one of them where it was like, it's so funny because I think you sent it called Kick a Rhyme, right? Because it was almost like, that's almost like what he's asking of me. Because we were like, a lot of these songs we've made are very much like written, like song structured. And I was like, yo, this is hip hop, man. Sometimes you do need to just go in. And it's like, I almost wrote that verse with the thought, like, if I was going to go on Funk Flex tomorrow, and he said, all right, what you got? Just go, you know what I mean? It's like some of the references, just listening then, really obscure. And it's like, but again, that layer one shit, it just sounds kind of cool to me. I don't know, like maybe but you know.
Yeah, absolutely smashed it, man. I don't know if you noticed, I had to nip away while it was playing there quickly. And it wasn't because I needed to go to the toilet or anything. The scratch bit at the start, this is the first track that I've made where I've not had to like pull from acapellas from other joints to use to make the chorus. I've pulled acapellas from my own vaults, so to speak. You know what I mean? Digital vaults from my own work. So I went to the 40 MC drop cipher again and pulled those lines out of there. And I had to run upstairs just to double check, make sure I was getting it factually correct, who the two MCs were. But yeah, those two lines. So I can't remember who's. I think so it was Shark from Fire Team Alpha was one of them. I think his was the one, the Mike in my hand, making heads bang, and Ocelot as well was the other one. So I just wanted to name drop them quick because they're the two MCs that feature in that chorus. And I remember when I made it, like, just to be like I'm that kind of dude, so to speak, I hit them up on Messenger both and sent them the track and just said, look, just wanted to let you know I've taken your vocal snippets out of the 40MC drop cipher to make this hook, and just wanted to make sure that you were cool with it. And they both hit me back like, man, that shit's, you know what I mean? So yeah, I just wanted to shout them out. That's why I was running upstairs. So I wanted to make sure I got the right names.
Man, you're a good dude, man. That's appreciation. I know they were like, wow, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we need that. We need more and more of that in hip hop, man. People remember to like give people their props and their love, man. That's important. A lot of people. Kareem had a line. I was trying to remember the line while you were saying that, where he said there's 3 things that I need. Basically, I forget how he said that. I forget what song. It might even be in the song Removed, with him and Damon, where he said there's 3 things basically we need, and it's approval, encouragement, and acknowledgement. And
real, yeah.
Was that Removed, Q?
That's America in cursive.
That's American cursive.
Okay, that's American cursive. Yeah, real talk, man. Sometimes that's all you need to keep going, and a lot of people stop just because they don't get those basic things, or they at least stop sharing it with the world, man.
Yeah.
It's dope.
And you know what? I was bamboozled because that's the one that I heard on the show.
Yes, yeah.
But I also told myself, like, because you went straight in, and it makes sense, like you said, you felt like you wrote it for Flex. Yeah. I thought that I said in my head, I was just listening, this shit you go. I was like, man, that's got to be the intro. Because you were just flowing. You know how people just flow in, they come in. You know, people were doing that for a while. They would just come in flowing, and then you get to the.
I did that on the takeover show. I did that on purpose because like I said, the intro was a guest 16 bar feature that Ty did for the show. It was the first show that I did. He done that for that, and what I did to kind of celebrate this release, because I wanted to obviously promote it on the show, I just remixed those bars. So it was a fresh new beat that you heard at the start of the show with Ty's over it, and then I did that on purpose actually to play that joint first, because like you said, it's like almost like a jumping on Funk Flex type freestyle, you know what I mean, fire in the booth type joint, and I just follow on perfectly from it, you know. So I'm glad you picking up on everything, man.
I wanted to salute the takeover show. That's what I say. I was just saying that last line was, ever since the takeover, it's been Ether. I just wanted to like have a little nod to this. Kind of started the whole process. So
brilliant to the bars too, man. Definitely take over the Ether. What'd you say? I heard all the dread jokes. Whoopee, what?
Oh I love that line, man. And that's the other thing when it comes to structuring the track. When I do my little tinkles and stuff, you know, when I mess with it, it's just those little fine details. You know what I mean? Like with the whoopee, I was like, I've got to just cut the thing out, just drop it out just for a sec, just to give it that extra. You know what I mean? And things like that. And on the bit where the pause. You know what I mean? You know this geezer. Do you know what I mean? So just cut it, pause. Hey, you know this geezer. Yeah, like I love trying to, I don't know, like go along with the flow. If you know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow.
You doing what a producer does, man. I think that's another reason I said I know I wasn't ready to be a producer full time, was because I wasn't willing to go that extra mile, even though I knew that's the extra mile I needed to go. Like that's one reason I'm real happy we got Q engineers and takes care of our stuff now. And he's doing all the stuff that I wish I could do and more that I didn't even think to do beats. And I'm like, this is it. But Panda, you're a one-man army. Are you mixing your things all the way and mastering everything? Is everything done in-house?
back to front pretty much. Yeah, everything I do, yeah, I make the beat obviously at home. Send that off, and then I get the verses back, the files, the stems, and then I'd slap it into the original project where I made the beat and go at it from there. If it needs a scratch hook, I do that and structure it from there basically. And then once I've done that, then I do all the mixing and mastering myself. So that's been the kind of the slowest kind of progression, not slowest, but like that's been the progression for me over the last few years, has been the mix. The sonic has been the sonic stuff, the mix and mastering, the creativity, so to speak, has always been there, my making it, but it's the mixing and mastering that's like, that's why I'm so like, without diverting here for a second, just that's why I'm so happy that I'm getting to reproduce the Where Do I Go From Here album, because I'm so happy with that album. But sonically, I've come so far in that small space of time that I'm like, I was considering just remastering it. Do you know what I mean? Before we came to the other idea, I was like, I love, this album just deserves to be sonically better. So I'm glad I've now got this opportunity to do that with that. So
And just quickly offshooting that, I always make a point with anyone I work with, especially in this like remote thing where it's like you literally send like the stems over and stuff. With my verses, obviously Panda will tell you, like I normally send like quite a lot of channels because all these little extra ad libs and backings and stuff. But I always make a point to like really go in and clean them up and like chop off that dead air. So what he ends up getting to then like mix and stuff is pretty much like he doesn't have to do that extra bit of work where it's just like, just that little like extra breath that you don't need. Like I always make a point to like, I keep it natural when it's needed, but like there's just little, I don't know, maybe that's an OCD thing or something, but I just know like when people send me vocals and stuff and it's like, it's just a whole wab and there's like just the foot tapping or the door shutting and the thing, I'm just like,
and that goes super appreciated as well. It was the same when we did the Long Year EP as well. Like you guys did so much on your end. Do you know what I mean? That made it as easy as possible for me. Do you know what I mean? And I notice and appreciate that. Do you know what I mean? Because it does, like, no diss to any other MCs, but like, sometimes you can get files back all higgledy-piggledy, and you've got to put them together yourself. And not that I don't mind doing it. I mind doing it. Do you know what I mean? But it's not. When it comes all just. All you have to do is slap it in and it's ready to go. Do you know what I mean? And all I've got to do is tinker with the beat and the EQs and the levels.
That shit is unheard of, man. Like that's hella generous.
Well, man, you get it every time with these guys. I'm telling you.
I thought Q was about to go in on me, man. When a lot of tracks for the verse.
It's everyone that I've worked with so far. It's like it's a lot of work. Just making sure that everything is fine tuned and all the extra breathing. And like I be getting shit and I hear. Like before they start saying the words, what I'm saying? This is all kind of shit. I'm like, I gotta drill in and fine tune. Like,
you'll be kind of proud of me then, Q. I sent some stems to Al 2 days ago, and I went back before I sent them to him. I was like, Q would say to name the damn tracks. But I cut off a couple of breaths, but I was like, I want that breath to stay in.
But that's the thing. You do have to like keep it sounding natural, but want it to be so robot, but
damn, what's dogs barking in the background, cats meowing and shit.
You mentioned door slamming stuff. That's funny.
I learned to clean it up.
Ordering a pizza midway through the verse.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say when I rarely MC and record my own shit, some of my outtakes are hilarious, and I'm going to save them. And at one point in the future, I'm just going to put out a project of Panda outtakes. They're hilarious, man. People ought to do that. Do you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of times you get like outtakes and stuff. We ought to just keep them on purpose for shit. Yeah.
I didn't think about that. That's a good idea, man. Because I know I've heard a couple recently when I've been going through looking for some stems to get some things together, and I hear some weird stuff in the outtakes now that I I didn't hear the last time. I'm like, damn, it is funny this time. Last time was just bad.
I mean, a beautiful example of just obviously deciding to keep you know, an outtake, I suppose, in. Do you guys remember the Q-Tip Amplified album?
Yeah, about the Buster joint where he's like,
the Buster joint, man, right at the end where like I think that they cut him off or something, and then he goes off at one. Like, what the fuck? He starts slamming shit about, and they're all in the background pissing themselves. Like that was when I first heard that, I was in stitches, and I always remember from that point on thinking, if I ever make hip hop myself, because at that time I wasn't making beats. I was like, if I ever get around to doing that shit, like I'm doing stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? If there's ever like any funny outtake shit, it's always, you know, where you can, if you can leave it in, leave it in. It gives, you know, to me, it gives the track character. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I do that with MCs back when I used to record people here or at the other crib. I used to do that. I used to keep some of this stuff, and I was notorious for. They're like, "Yeah, man, be careful what you say on the mic over there. He'll keep that shit in the song on you." Hell yeah! It adds the character to the song, the charisma. I look for when I look for ad libs. I listen for an MC to give ad libs that accentuate your words here and there, but also to add another character like your hype man on there, or like your boy or your people around. Give it a little extra personality.
A bit of depth.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I usually want two ad lib tracks from MCs normally. One,
that was our rule. Yep.
Yeah, two at least. You know what?
Young when we used to go to this community recording studio. For a standard MC verse, you want 3 channels, and it's your main line, the top line, whatnot, your backing track, which will be like accentuate the, like if you got like a punchline that you really want to drive home, so you will beef that up. But then your third layer is like you be the person responding to the verse, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. So you said something that deserves a woo, then do the woo, and then it's like.
On this subject, I've got to say actually, because going back to the Long Year EP that I made with Ty and Nay and Lou Cypher, there's a joint on there. Well, it's the title joint, Long Year, and I remember when I got the vocals through. I don't know any of you guys have ever heard the joint, but it's you know, it's one of those joints that kind of like, you know, plucks at the heartstrings a bit, so to speak. And when the guys recorded it and sent me the vocals over, I remember, I can't remember, it was either Nay or Ty said to me, you know, you might hear a couple of points where our voices kind of wobble a bit. It's because they were, you know, it was the emotion of it all, and they decided rather than take it and again keeping it in, and it was I loved that. Do you know what I mean? I loved the fact that you could hear the voice kind of wobble a little bit, you know, because it gave the track, you know what I mean, that emotion, you know. So
our friend passed away. This is all like that track, not to bring it back up, but like that album, EP, whatever, called The Long Year, was kind of like a post-COVID, but we're still in the pandemic kind of thing. And we had a friend, and he passed away. He was only 26, so it was very much that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? I say rest in peace, Joe Wheatley. It was a really difficult session, because we knew we wanted to do like a tribute song, but it's like it was like, how do you even like, because again you're still 3 MCs, do you know what I mean? Like, you know, it's not, it's like putting there, like it's cool, but it's almost like, but you almost don't want to, like 16 bars isn't enough to talk about a friendship sometimes, you know what I mean? Like perspective on it kind of thing. So I think we all one taked it. So like the version that exists is like, I think like it might have been my voice on the hook, Panda. I think because I was quite choked up when we did that one, and I remember didn't quite hit the note right, but it kind of worked anyway, right? Yeah.
Again, it's like it gives the track that natural feel. You know what I mean? It gave it, without sounding tacky, it gave it a pulse. Do you know what I mean? It was, you know. So
wow, that's heavy, Colin. Wow,
for sure.
That's what's up.
Hey man, I don't know if either of you guys have a favorite from the project. I don't have a favorite, but I have a couple that really, really just like really hit me. And now listening again, I'm worried about whether they're gonna stand. But this next one is one of the ones that is like, yo, this might be my favorite. There's one other really strong contender for it, but then there's others right now that I might have to weigh against it. Do you guys have favorites?
I'm gonna be real. It's between this one and the one after this one. This one to me is like, but yeah, I imagine it's similar, right? Like this one, like UGK, like I can't explain how, like, as far as like perspective of life, Houston, Texas, and Nottingham, England couldn't be further from the. We don't have big roads, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, man, that for me, just being real with you guys, like 2004, 2005, again, going by the year, by my age, I was 15 around that time, 14, 15. And that's when like, I really started like, you know, I just wanted to be a rapper. So I wanted the baggy clothes, I wanted the big chains and shit. And I'll be real, man, like that Still Tipping beat, like some of that Mike Jones shit, a lot of that Swisher House, UGK, a lot of that shit was like, I was in love. And then a lot of people, some people consider that like more the commercial kind of sound and more like the poppier shit, but I loved it, man. Them 808s, just, it was insanity. It was insane for me because it's like, again, you know, we ain't got swangers, like, you know, we ain't got. So it almost became like a fantasy world for me. So it's like, so to be able to come to 2023 where we're at today and like tastefully put that inspiration into a joint, it was like, I don't know, a dream come true, honestly. So yeah, I'm gonna get a grill next, you know.
Oh, then this about to be a treat. If this and the next one are favorites for you, man, I can't wait to see how D and Q.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear it. Let's go.
Here we go. The next one's called Chinatown. Was that you ready?
Yeah, I'm all ready, man. This is that. Before we go in, just real quick, this is the sex. You know, I said there's 2 beats on the CEP that, to me personally, were like the beats where I went a little bit more kind of outside the box. This is the second beat. This is that one, and yeah. Without tooting the horn, I'm really proud of how I pulled it off. I'm really proud how we both pulled it off. Obviously, got the beat, especially. It was something that it was a kind of a flow that I've been wanting to tinker with for so long. And when I finally did it, yeah. So I'll shut up now.
I got so many thoughts on it. I got to wait and hold off on, man. But yeah, I'm excited. So here we go. Chinatown.
Underground kings, it's Panda and Ty. You can crown them. It's Panda and Ty. Underground kings, it's Panda and Ty. I don't know why you fake ass DJs try. Underground kings, it's Panda and Ty. You can crown them. It's Panda and Ty. Underground kings, it's Panda and Ty. Never let these fake ass rappers rhyme. This verse was recorded in the year of the tiger. Type earning stripes, swift swipes in the cipher. Protect your neck from these balls or you won't need a scarf. Severed head for soccer balls, high as the Great Wall. 2 pails of water on a stick across my shoulder. I'm all about the balance, so I shall not tip it over. The spirit of a dragon spitting fire any moment. Drunken fist, punchline piss, hardly ever sober. Hold up, I roll up, blown up, puff up, smoke us, we don't trust strangers, it's just us. There's a code of honor that we honor. Any problems, wanna squash it for it escalates to bigger drama. Karma comes around and I stay calmer. Pull rabbits out the hat, kung lao, the blades on ya. So take your shoes off before you're in my temple. Respect the gods or end up on the menu. I'm running round, busy now, like in Chinatown. I'm running round, busy now, like in Chinatown. I'm running round, busy now, like in Chinatown. Trying to push my sound, this how it's going down. I'm running round, busy now, like in Chinatown. I'm running round, busy now, like in Chinatown. I'm running round, busy now, like in Chinatown. Trying to push my sound, this how it's going down. Always on that hustle and bustle, it's just a must and not struggle. Let's move some muscle, got no time for kerfuffle. I spent too many days theorizing, no plan of action and nothing changed, and I found that surprising. Wow, now I won't make that mistake twice. I sip the great wine, hear them talk through the grapevine. It's a big gamble, they're plotting to take mine. 2 1s on the dice, knew you were snake guys. Thought I was blind like woozy move. No no, take my time's what I usually do. No crime, but police try moving you. So when it's time to bounce, someone shout, I've been an outcast, yo, before it was cool. I wore the Jordans back when you wore cold and moon boots. And now I clock them everywhere, even rocking knockoff pairs. So this one's for the sweatshop workers that stay locked in there. I'm running round, busy now, like in Chinatown. I'm running round, busy now, like in Chinatown. I'm running round, busy now, like in Chinatown. Trying to push my sound, this how it's going down. I'm running round, busy now, like in Chinatown. I'm running round, busy now, like in Chinatown. I'm running round, busy now, like in Chinatown. Trying to push my sound, this how it's going down. Underground kings, it's Panda and Ty. You can crown them. It's Panda and Ty. Underground kings, it's Panda and Ty. I don't know why you fake ass DJs try. Underground kings, it's Panda and Ty. You can crown them. It's Panda and Ty. Underground kings, it's Panda and Ty. Never let these fake ass rappers rhyme.
Yeah, crazy.
That's next snap. Oh my
What?
That bass line is amazing.
Uh-huh.
Something for bending corners and swinging on them things. What? Wow.
Yo, both of y'all, man. Both of y'all out the park with that, man. The way you danced on that joint, Ty, was crazy. And Panda, the chops, my goodness, man. Yo, the arrangement on those chops and the drums, man, the little drum breakdowns. Yeah, you.
Thank you,
I was not expecting that, man. That's a cut right there for sure.
There you go.
What?
Bamboozle them. Bamboozle.
That joint got tears in my eyes. That joint is that's
man.
hip-hop, man.
Thank you.
Holy shit. Okay, I get it. Bamboozle. Every track. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, man.
Bamboozle.
Yeah.
It's
super proud of this one. And obviously, yeah, Ty, yeah, again, you know, just making something dope into a masterpiece. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, man. Again, this is one of those beats that was the second beat, in my opinion, that was like kind of stepping out of the usual Panda sound. Not, you know what I mean? It's the same sound, but different kind of tempo, different flex. Yeah.
And like I say, that for me, man, again, like that song is like I wish the 15-year-old me could hear that and be like, that's what you will be one day. That shit, like, because I mean, as in back then, I was just a kid trying to like a fantasy cape at that point. But it's like, nah, but you can find a way to make that tasteful, man. It's so funny because like even like the pitch down vocals, I didn't even pitch it down. I just actually recorded it laying down. So I'm just like, underground.
Oh, no way.
That's great, man. Yo, that's
crazy. That's bananas. Wow.
And there's so much going on with the arrangement on the chops there, Panda, man. There's so much going on with that. Made me wonder on this one. Like I figure I guess on somebody, but I had to ask, like, what sequence do you do your beats in? Do you have a formula, or do you approach them differently every time? I know some people said, no, you got to lay your drums first because blah, blah, blah. Or some people just like,
yeah, I mean, I make all my beats in Cubase for starters. And I change between two, like, so the beat will be essentially obviously weather tempo, and then it'll be in one, I forget the signature. I have like a signature of like 164, and then I'm trying to remember now. It's hard to remember without it being in front of you. So like, yeah, the 164, and and then I keep quantize on. So basically, quantize is kept on, and then I have it on a time signature where, you know, I can make the beat. How do I word this? So I can make the beat kind of offbeat but on beat at the same time, because like within the space of a bar, so to speak, you know, the kick will always hit bang on, and then the kick, you know what I mean, and then it will kick, the kick will hit bang on the next bar, but in between, you know what I mean, like you'll find like the odd hi-hat will be just a smidge out, Do you know what I mean? So, you know, rather than like I don't just get like kind of every hi-hat and place it on each line. I'll go like, you know what I mean? Like one will be on the line, another will be just off, and then the next one will be on line, the one will be just off. So it gives it that kind of
It gives
you know
it
what I mean? It gives it that bounce. You know, that's how I found to get the bounce. Anyway, almost kind of inspired in a way by Dilla, how Dilla used to do shit. Do you know what I mean? He used to do that kind of, but he obviously he was on a totally different level. And obviously he used to unquantize all his shit, and it was all just freehand motion. Obviously, I'm not a manual producer at the moment, so to speak. I'm working on that, by the way. But mine's all in Cubase, so it's, you know, it's a lot of mouse work, but it's where I place everything, so to speak, is what gives it the bounce.
Wow. Okay. That's amazing, bro. That's amazing. I know, like I used to on the ASR, I hated the way that would quantize, so I couldn't quantize my beats on there because they would sound too sticky and too robotic for me. Would have to do, or I would quantize certain notes, like if I knew it was on, you know, with the time signature, I might quantize that, and then loose hand some free little snares or some free little kicks around here and there, some hats. But
absolutely, there are some times where in a beat or a track, depending on obviously the moment when I'm making it and things like that, there'll be a certain point where I'll want say a kick to hit somewhere where I want it to land somewhere where it won't allow me to land it when it's quantized, so I will unquantize. Do you know what I mean? So that I'm free to move it to exactly the spot that I want it. So it's almost like I try to manipulate Cubase in a way, because I've always I mean, I'm going to one day soon, but I always wanted to make beats manually. You know, I've always envisioned having like, you know, the MPC or something like that, but I've just never had the dollar or whatever to get one. You know, like in true hip hop style, I just kind of like just manipulated the tools that I had, and I had Cubase, I had a laptop, and everything, you know, whatever else, and I just used what I had. So I've always tried to kind of manipulate Cubase in a way, like as much as you could do with an MPC. Do you know what I mean? Like it's hard to put into words, but yeah.
You know, that's a like a masterclass worthy right there, man. I don't know anybody else ever thought to use a different time signature to get the offbeat bounce to a beat. That's incredible, man.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it's just little things, you know, they make all the difference, don't they? That's what you find in production. It's just the little things.
Hey, so Ty, what are you thinking? Oh, go ahead.
Hey, I'm sorry, y'all, man. I got to get to work at 4, man. But it's 3:30 right now for us, man. I feel like I'm missing out, though, man. I'm sorry, man. I wish I had much time.
It's okay, man. It's dropping on the 5th, so you better, you know.
Yeah. Man, nice meeting you, Ty. Man, nice listening to y'all, man. More than anything, as a listener, it's 1000% solid. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
that means more than words can put into, you know what I mean? So honestly, thank you, bro. I really mean that.
It's not just this project. It's like sometimes you hear people and they can never do no wrong. And man, both of you guys are in that class. You know what I'm saying? So anything y'all do, man. So yeah.
We'll link up, man.
Yes,
appreciate that, Demar. Thank you for coming through.
Appreciate you coming through, Demar. Peace.
All right. Yes, sir. All right.
All right, War.
All right, so we got 2 more. I know we've been on for almost 3 hours now. I didn't realize it's been 2.5 hours. We have a tendency to do this, man. But cool. Ty, did you have anything else you want to say about Chinatown? I mean, that joint, the approach to that. I mean, what did you think when you heard that beat?
Again, like it was one of them, man. It was almost like you can't do the typical with one of them ones. It's almost like I almost felt like, did he send me that to fuck with me? You know what I mean? It's like, where? All right, bro, because I'm skippy. I can figure it out. But I was like, yo, this is a bamboozled me. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna send something back to you where you'll be like, you know, where's he going with this? So I think we got this.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just such weird timing when we, like you say, you talk about the timing on your end. It was the same on my end as well. You know, like I was just going. It was just that little time pocket where I was just sat there making beats like I do, and in that moment I was like, nah, do you know what? I feel like now's the time for me to try and make this kind of beat, and had a stab at it. And made it, and I sat back and listened to it, and I was like, "This is going to tie."
Yeah,
100% this is going to tie. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what I do with every beat that I make. Do you know what I mean? I'll make a beat, and obviously unless I'm doing something bespoke, but if I make a beat, you know what I mean, I'll sit back and I'll listen to it and I'll think, right, what do I want to do with this? Do you know what I mean? Like, do I want to put it up for sale? Have I got a particular person in mind? Do you know what I mean? Like, so it was the timing and everything. And yeah, when I made it, I was like, yes, this is perfect for this. Send it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
Man, y'all got a classic for sure there, man. That's one that's going to go down in people's books. Like, yo, this from them too. Yeah, this is going to go in that top rotation. It definitely is for me. Shit. And the next one, Ty, you said the next one is one of the other ones that's a candidate for fave?
Yeah, I think it might just be, because I feel like even this conversation we've had today, I feel like this kind of encompasses kind of like what, like as an introduction to who I am, I guess like this one kind of like, it does that in a very tasteful way, man. I feel like, yeah, if I was gonna play one song from this project to be like, what's this kind of about? I would probably play this one, because it probably is the most traditional Panda-esque kind of sound of production, and then the rest of it would completely be like, whoa, you're going all these different places. But yeah, this is definitely a strong favorite of mine, man. I like rapping this one out loud, like I do it like a lot.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Here we go. In the 90s, track 6 from DJ Pandamonium and Ty Healy. Let's go.
Yo, about to take them back one time. Yeah. Nostalgic vibe. Every now and then, I look back at life. Came a long way, but every now and then, I gotta go down memory lane. Hey yo, this is a dedication to single moms raising young kids, hard workers slaving to make rent. It was grimy in the 90s, I'm saying. To loved ones lost, it's a dedication. It was hard, but we had enough to make it. Parties on the block had the whole end shaking. It was lively in the 90s, I'm saying. Coming home, bumping Wu-Tang in the basement. Observe my Walkman, New York stands, but I'm in England. Them cassette tapes had me gas, fam. But my main passion back then was art. With a pencil and a rubber, made my own album covers. Mother worked her socks off, so we had clean ones on. Never say I felt poor, nah, not once. But when parties popped off, somebody's chain popped off. Trying to feel free, so police came. Lock up, the ends didn't feel like the end of the line. I took a pen to the rhymes and started bending a mind. I was 7 in 9-7, packing Biggie birth from heaven. So in my head, I'm thinking there's only me left then. I was in my element, fucking with elements. Graffiti letter S everywhere I went. Thought I was the East and West, trying to represent with the wheat brown Timbs, Raiders cap on the brim. The styles I wear now, yo, I wore in the 90s. I'm futuristic, but my core in the 90s. Some got rich, some poor in the 90s. Hip hop was really fucking raw in the 90s. Money, sex, drugs, and the war in the 90s. Won't believe half the shit I saw in the 90s. I was just a child, I was born in the 90s. The things you do now, we did it all in the 90s. Observe my swerve, I stepped up on the curb. Not saying I'm above the streets, but there's lessons learned in the worst way. Hands on, handguns cocked. Friends that got shot, never even had a shock to be adults. Grown up, it's fucked up, it's wild. Where we're from, you're forced to be a man as a child. It's foul, glad I had dreams to make it out. Before I ever smoked weed, my head was in the clouds. Now I reign supreme in my Stu CT. Kodak flashbacks, Unks had that in 93. How many family albums? I don't know if I count them. It would take some hours. There is literally thousands of pics to look at and reminisce. Old houses and shit, that wallpaper was a myth. To say we're stuck in the past, it's nothing like that. Just every now and then, the memories come back. The styles I wear now, yo, I wore in the 90s. I'm futuristic, but my core in the 90s. Some got rich, some poor in the 90s. Hip hop was really fucking raw in the 90s. Money, sex, drugs, and the war in the 90s. Won't believe half the shit I saw in the 90s. I was just a child, I was born in the 90s. The things you do now, we did it all in the 90s. In the 90s. Panda and the Healer, man. It's the Panda and the Healer. You know, everything I saw in life from a young'un, the ups and the downs, it's all a lesson and a blessing, because it made me who I am today, you know? Now I can just give it back in the form of the music. Yeah, yeah. Hey yo, this is a dedication to single moms raising young kids, hard workers slaving to make rent. It was grimy in the 90s, I'm saying. To loved ones lost, it's a dedication. It was hard, but we had enough to make it. Parties on the block had the whole end shaking. It was lively in the 90s, I'm saying. Coming home, bumping Wu-Tang in the basement. In the 90s. In the 90s. In the 90s. In the 90s. Yeah, in the 90s. Yeah, yeah, yeah. In the 90s. Yeah, in the 90s. In the 90s.
Oh,
Man.
in the 90s.
In the 90s, I had a Mazda 929. Everybody knew me by that car. And that was the car I listened to music that this reminds me of. And man, this joint took me back to the 929, man. I love that car, man. This song was all 90s for sure. Y'all captured the essence of the era for sure with this, man.
Thank you, my man.
Special, man, for sure. I'm proud of the whole thing, but that one, yeah, like I feel like, not to like toot my horn, but I feel like that's something that I feel like it could have come out then, and it wouldn't have felt out of place. You know what I mean? Well, it would have wise because it would have been in the now, but like, yeah, but you know,
I love how it gives us the listener a little insight into Ty. Do you know what I mean? Like growing up and shit. So that's what I love about the tune as well. Do you know what I mean? Because it's, you say, but it's about taking it back to the 90s, so to speak, and there's the references. You know, there's the hip hop references, so to speak, but then there's also the family references and shit like that. You know, that's what I love about it. It like, you know, lets us know a little bit more about Ty, you know. So
yeah, definitely cracked that door open, man. And Panda with you on the kicks again. I heard the way those kicks are dragging on there, man. It's like, yeah, I was impressed with seeing the way they were dancing, and again, Ty, you dancing on the track again, man. It was perfect.
Thank you, man. Again, like, so I was gonna say again, like when it came to making the beat, it was the sample was what I heard first, because a lot of the time I'll start a track with the drums and then drop a sample or loop a sample on top of those. But this one started with the sample. I just had that it was everything was just on, like almost like I had on an MPC, like I just assigned everything to an individual pad. And it just started with that, and then I added the drums and everything else on top of it. So I wanted the drums again. It was like, again, even though it was still that typical kind of Panda feel, you know, I wanted, like you said, the drums lagging on purpose to try and fit I wanted it to, do you know what I mean? And
yeah. It sounded like somebody dragging their foot or something, man.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love the way all of the different drum sounds, like the hats and everything, were dancing all over the place. Like I'm always listening for stuff like that. It's one of my favorite things, like hear people experiment and play around with the things in the background versus just focusing on the kick and the snare. I like to hear all the other stuff that's going on. So that was really dope. And I feel like for this one, even though it does sound like more of a traditional Panda joint, it followed a sort of a more normal hip hop song formula, but there's also a certain level of synergy between the beat and you, Ty, like that there was something that for whatever reason, I don't know how to explain it, but you sounded closer to this beat. You know what I mean? Like there's a relationship that's been there for a minute.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't really know how to explain it any other way, but if there was something about the synergy with that I was like, this is solid. This is like,
I feel like
something there.
Definitely, like, probably if we're gonna say comfort zones, let's say, those kind of like, again, it's that Nas thing, man. It's that like storytelling. Like, take your time, don't rush nothing. I feel like what we really nailed on this Panda project is like, it's almost like a display palette of, look, we can go everywhere. But for me, essentially, I feel like the reason why, to me, this is track 6, because this is almost like, but at the end of the day, this is what we all love, right? And this is the thing that we was so inspired from back then and beyond then. You know, you could have made in the 80s, you could have made in the set. If you know what I mean, it's not really about the date per se. It's more a call back to familiar territory, right? So almost that kind of, in a way, even though we kind of like went all these different places, that track still feels like it kind of sums up what we're up. You know what I'm saying?
If I were to say anything, it's like, this is where you came home, kicked off your shoes, put the slippers on in the robe, and popped out the cigar, and then, you know.
Absolutely. I think you described it similarly yourself, didn't you, Ty? When we wrapped it up, and we was discussing the you know, what order to put things in. Yeah. And I think that was what you was going for, essentially, wasn't it?
100%. Yeah, man. So like, it's like the track that's left is essentially we're almost putting it as if it was a bonus track. So essentially, what you heard, that is the project, and then we've got just to finesse it a little bit. But like, yeah, like, and if it ended there, I would be really proud. So it's like, that was a really not enjoyable listen. You know what I mean? It's funny. I don't know if you guys do this, but you know, if someone else is listening to your music, you're almost trying to hear it through everyone else's eyes and ears. You know what I mean? Because I don't know, I've rinsed it. You know what I mean? I know how it sounds, but it's like, I'm almost like trying to imagine how you would receive it. You know what I mean? So it's really cool that we're doing it this way. So,
Totally agree.
Definitely received that one well. And the fact that you just mentioned the fact that the last one is a bonus is funny, because I saw the name of the track when for the joint that you sent, Panda, and I was like, it didn't register until you just said it. It's like, okay, now it makes sense. I was at first I planned on asking you questions about the title, but now I'm going to ask you questions about the title after this. But you already answered half the question now by explaining. All right, here we go. Bonus. Oh love.
Shout out love. Asian folk.
A G.
Cold as the key. That Panda beat. Cold as the key. Oh love. Ty Healy on the remix. I refuse to lose. Oh love. Cold as the key. That Panda beat. Cold as the key. Oh love. Ty Healy on the remix. I refuse to lose. Oh love.
You don't have to love it. You don't even have to like it. Just be straight up and direct. That's what they call respect. Just an answer is what I'm after. Why keep me in the dark? Just be straight up from the start. Because I refuse to lose. Don't make me start again. Ain't you heard the news? I'll be back in 10. Writing's on the wall. Let's go grab a pen. If you don't see it all, you might meet your end. You might meet your end.
Confidence is the key, but we kicked off the door hinges. Walking in rooms illuminating cause the aura different. Pure precision, to hate is a poor decision. But anyway, it's all love, oh love is kicking. Pure facts on the rhythm, are you kidding me? The Panda beats like Blackstreet, no diggity. We couldn't lose if we choose to. Stay woke, eyes closed, I refuse to.
Too long, hibernation. You avoid likes, vacations. Pretending that you're nice, you're straight hating. You keep me in your mind, and time wasting. Because I refuse to lose. Don't make me start again. Ain't you heard the news? I'll be back in 10. Writing's on the wall, so best go grab a pen. If you don't see it all, you might meet your end.
Bamboozled.
That's the way to close the album out. That's incredible, man.
Thank you.
Who was that singing?
That was my man O Love. He's a guy that I met originally when I used to do DMC battles back in the day. He's actually well, I can't remember which year, but he was actually DMC UK champion one year and represented the UK in the World Finals. He went by the name, or he still does, when he DJs, the name of Asian Hawk. And what he's kind of like tend to navigate a bit more towards these days is his vocals, you know, singing and music making and things like that. Me and him have been, you know, back and forth on collabing on some stuff for a while now, and never really found. It's been mostly on my part, really. If he's watching this, he'll probably think, "Oh, I've been ready for ages, Pan. I'm just waiting on you, dude." You know what I mean? So it's one of those things. I've just kind of waited for the right time to do stuff. And this one was a track that he put out himself called Refuse, and he sent me the joint. I loved it. And he suggested it himself. He was like, "If you fancy doing a remix, man, I'll send stems over." I was like, "Hell yeah, man, send that over. I'll have a stab." And the whole beat, basically, I used every single stem pretty much, or nearly every single stem that he sent me, because it was all the whole track was all original instrumentation that he done himself.
Okay.
So you know, all the keys and everything like that was all played by him. And all I added of my own was basically my drums. So I did the drum pattern, the usual, you know, Panda boom bap kind of drums, and I just took his stems and chopped the crap out of the stems. Basically, I remixed the track, so to speak. So yeah, so all the bass line, the and things like that they were all from the original track. I just chopped it up Panda style, basically. And then made that beat with that, laid obviously Olaf's vocals over it that he sent over with the stems. And like I said, there was like a little pocket towards the end, and I was debating what my go-to normally is to fill it with like a scratch hook or something. But I was a bit kind of hesitant on doing a scratch hook on this one, because it was No Love track, and Asian Hawk's like one of the dopest flipping turntablists out there. Do you know what I mean? It was weird. I didn't want to fill it with something so obvious, so I was like, do you know what? One thing I loved about making that Children of Zeus remix a little while back, before making this one, I was like, I loved the fact that I got Nay Loco from the local Healers to do a little guest guest verse on that remix. And with this one being like, say, like a kind of almost kind of like, you know, R&B kind of track in a sense. Again, like when I take myself back to the 90s and stuff, when I used to listen to all those kind of old R&B tracks, I used to love it when you had somebody, you know, come in and do a little cheeky guest verse just to kind of like fill that pocket, you know, in the track. And I was like, right, that's what I need to do. Who am I going to get to do it? First name that came to mind was Ty Healy, and sent that over to him. He was obviously more than glad. This was made like way before we even thought about the EP. Yeah. And he wrote and recorded that nice and quick, as he always does, like the professional that he is, and got it back to me. Sent it over to Olaf. He loved it. Excuse the pun. And he put the remix out himself on his own channels, really, to begin with. It was through his Spotify and whatnot, and it was the Pandamonium remix featuring Ty Healy. And that was out for a while, and then we did this EP, and like Ty said before, he really wanted to kind of put this one on there, and I was like, yeah, man, I'm down with that. That's an awesome idea. Good, you know, cracking way to finish the project off. Hit Love, see if you obviously checked that he was down for, you know, for us doing that. He was more than happy for us to do that. And all I did really is I went back into it, remastered it a little bit, just not much, but a little bit, because the original, the one that I put out before was dope enough. But yeah, just remastered it a little bit, and I added the only thing I added was that little, again, going back to just putting something at the start of the track for the DJs to chop up. That the one I did before didn't have that at the start. It just cuts straight in, just goes doom, you know what I mean, on the kick. So I did that little bit at the start for the DJs. So yeah.
Oh, It was a good call putting it on there. That was an excellent call, man. That joint, it's definitely another Bamboozled. Takes you off somewhere else that you don't expect to go. And
No shit.
yeah, it sounds like something I could hear being commercially viable as well.
But you know, well, my girl, she heard that one and she was like, "Oh, this is the shit." Like, obviously, she's a soul R&B. You know, what I mean, she's a funk girl. Like, so when she heard it, she was like, "I have to get on this one."
Huge fan. Sorry to interrupt you, Ty. Huge fan right here. No word of a freaking lie, man. Huge fan of Harley Blue. Huge fan.
Yeah,
so
but
to get that from her is
I'm not gonna interrupt because she's doing bits. Like I say, she's on tour with Illa J right now, so that says it all. Really. Yeah, she's. So, but she definitely was like, "Yo, get on this track. Like, you need to do a little bit." But at the same time, the original, even before Panda got his hands on it, the original song is so dope. I was very much in that vein of like, this is one of them where I don't need to do too much. Like, you know, I think about like Blackstreet, No Diggity with that like 4-bar Dre intro. I was thinking in that vein, like just give it a little sprinkle and let him go all the way. So the actual gap that I had to actually put the bar down, I thought I'm gonna keep it simple, going back to that ABC shit, no overly complex lyric, just layer one it, man. Make sure it sounds nice. And then his voice on that sounds crazy. So it's like, we didn't need to do much, just that little sprinkle just to make it a bit more on the hip hop side. And I feel like it, because of this project is so left, right, up, down, like I feel like it kind of makes sense to be on here as well. And that was selfishly on me. I was like, yo, you know that song we did, can we put that on here too? Like, so that was I was definitely happy.
Awesome idea, man. Awesome idea.
Yeah, that one deserves more light, more shine, and more of an audience. So I'm glad you made that call. It was definitely a good
big shout out, love, if you're watching or if you watch us back. I'll be in touch soon, I promise. we've got to make something happen. I really want to make a project with that dude. I just need to find the right time pocket to do it, you know. But yeah,
that'd be a good idea. That's a damn good idea. After hearing that, I want to hear more for sure. Yeah, definitely. So I mean, next steps, man. You guys are dropping the project on the 5th, right? And anything else, any other news, any other thoughts about this?
Well, I'm gonna, you know what? I almost feel like I might even ask you guys, because basically, like, I do a lot of like multimedia stuff as well. I'm sure you saw on my page like some of the animation stuff, some of the visual stuff. Yeah. I'm pretty much the forefront of that with the filming and the editing and stuff. So I want to shoot a video for one of these tracks because we've got a week before it actually officially releases. So I'm leaning towards in the 90s, but I'm just asking you guys, is there anything you think like could do with a nice little visual just to kind of give it that last little promo bump, you know what I mean? So
I think that this one will probably be harder, but I think the O Love is dope. I think in the 90s is dope, and Chinatown, you know that one gets. But I mean, honestly, I don't think we lose any of them. But Chinatown in the 90s are my favorites.
Yo, dope. I might go to London and go to Chinatown and just film it, and then just run around there. That might be kind of fire.
Yeah, man.
That would be good.
Yeah, I'm definitely, with my opinion as well, I'm torn between Chinatown and the 90s. Yeah, I mean, obviously, favorites tend to chop and change. Like, at the moment, definitely in the 90s, or between the 90s or Chinatown. So,
what about you, Q? You got one that you pick for a visual?
I think I would go with it in the 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, but I also what's the one? There's no hook or anything. I don't remember the title.
Kick a Ride.
Kick a Ride.
Yeah. That one as well.
That's fine.
I mean, that one you can.
I would literally just set the mic up, spin it.
I was gonna say that one you could do a fire in the booth type setup, like get a few different cameras just to get different angles, kind of thing. You know, like my shout out to my man One Oz. Me and him obviously have collabed in the past, and whenever I want, he's made a couple of videos in that same vein, just in front of the mic in his bedroom, just spitting it.
Or you could get slick and do it out on the street, like you have the mic out in the street and use a fish shot camera type situation and just play around with it.
That could be an
idea. Yeah, man, you know, and that wouldn't even be difficult. I might get on that on Monday, you know. I might just say, fuck it, just get out with the boys. I got a couple of cameras. You know, I'm gonna do it. Yo, respect, I'm gonna do that. Yep. It's gonna happen. So yeah, maybe May 5th. We're gonna drop this one exclusively on Bandcamp as well, which I thought, for me personally, like, you know, Panda didn't charge me for any of these beats, you know what I mean? And it's like, I feel like the best way, I mean, I'm sure you guys know with this sample stuff, it's kind of hard to go through these like channels with the Spotify's and Apple Music. Like, I don't know if you've clocked, but definitely on some of my shit, my sample music on there, it almost feels like it gets shadow banned, because it's like when I put some original content up there, shit jumps, like it gets on the release radar. I've got on a couple of them editorial playlists a lot of the time, but when you do the sample stuff, so I don't know, man, it's almost, that's that industry shit again, kind of trying to like soul out of this shit. So with that being said, as a thank you to Panda from me, I think to have this come out exclusively on Panda's page and the profits go to him, like I just think like he's such a dope producer, and I'm honored to be a part of it, right? So yeah, I think we're gonna do it. It's Bandcamp Friday, so you get 100% of the profits on that particular day. So hopefully people purchase, you know.
Oh, bless your heart, man. Do you know what? That's the first time I'm hearing that as well, because I know we said we are going to do it exclusively to Bandcamp, but you know, we hadn't had the conversation yet. I was going to say to you, like, how do you want to do it? Do you want to do like a joint Bandcamp page or put it on both of ours? So that's the first time me hearing that, man. And bless.
That's love, man.
Thank you, man. There you go. You heard it exclusively first. There you go.
that's another gem. This is, I mean, we can't thank y'all enough for all of this, man. Bringing it to us, bringing it to our attention, making sure that we got a chance to hear it. I mean, I'm just grateful I got a chance to hear it. I mean, the fact that we got to talk about it is icing on top of icing, to be honest, man. So
my words can't express my gratitude for letting us you know, hop on this platform with you guys and listen to this project. This is exactly how I expected it to go, and I've loved every second of it, and being able to share it in real time as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, because everyone hears projects in their own time, don't they? You know, and to have everyone kind of like vibing to it at the same time and get to ask questions and stuff, it's an awesome experience, man. So yeah, thank you. Really appreciate it.
No problem, man. Thank y'all, man. This has been beautiful. I know it's late for y'all. What is it? It's 5 o'clock here, so that means it's probably 10 o'clock when you're in, isn't it?
10 o'clock, yeah, man. It's been a few hours, isn't it? But hey, time flies when you're having fun.
Dope, yeah. And hey, Ty, man, you said you were planning on shooting a film or something. If you want to bring it back to premiere it, we're happy to do it.
We'll put it on your channel, man. Let's do that. Like, you know, and that's my thank you to you guys. If you're down with that. Like,
absolutely, man. That's love, man. We appreciate that, bro. Thank you very much, man. Thank you.
That'll be awesome, man. Thank you. Yeah,
it's gonna be dope, man. We're gonna have to catch up again. I'm sure when we get back to really like getting heavily into making music, we're gonna be reaching out for a feature and sending you some.
Anything you need, like I'm here. The team's here. You know what I mean? So yo, whatever. Like I'd be more than honored, man. You guys kill it. So yo, thank you.
Same here, man. Same here, man.
Appreciate that from both of y'all, man. I'm looking forward to doing something with both of y'all, man. And Ty, I did see a visual, some of the camera work on some of your stuff on your profile. Yeah. So I'll be going back through more of that. I heard you say that you do animation and visuals. I didn't want to just go over that. That's important. That's dope, man. I love seeing somebody else who has a passion for making visuals and stuff. Like that's my thing too, bro.
Yeah, man. I got shout out to my boy Jack Wolf on that as well, because he's heavy with that as well. So it's not, I can't take sole credit for that. Like he designed this. So yeah, so shout out my boy.
I followed him earlier too. I saw his name a number of places. I went in and followed him when I saw some of the stuff.
That's another producer on these aisles that's like I've got all the time in the world for, man. That dude, killing it.
No, you opened me up to a whole new corner of hip hop, a whole new branch of the family tree, man. So thank you, Panda. I appreciate it.
Yeah, as soon as I get back to making more music, I definitely want to chop it up with you about working on something. Both of you guys actually, but I want to produce joint as well.
Let's do it, man. Like I say, whatever you need, whether it's like if you want features for your projects, you want to send something this way, like I love it, man. Like I say, I got the mic upstairs. Everything will be sent quick. I don't waste time. You know what I mean? So like,
I can vouch for that, man.
Yeah, man. Like, I'll be gassed up, man. I'll be honored, you know what I mean? And let's just keep growing this hip-hop shit, man. You know, it's not going anywhere. Like, you know what I'm saying? We celebrating 50 years? Like, come on.
Yep.
Let's 100, you know what I mean? So, shit.
Let's keep it going, man. Thank you for keeping it alive for another generation, too, man. That's something we can't can't gloss over, man. There's a lot of people that they'll be like, yo, I want to just do what my peers are doing, and that's it. And I want to just fit in. Like you step out and doing a whole lot more than that is dope. And the fact that you got the talent to do the other stuff too, and I'm sure you finding balance, like you said. So,
Always.
yeah, I wish you much success, man. I know you're gonna be real
Likewise,
successful.
bro.
Thank you, man.
All right, guys, I'm gonna thank you so much for having us, man. Everyone enjoy your Saturday. I know I'm gonna get some more of these cherry bees.
Right. Y'all take care. Y'all have a good one. Thank you for the time, man.
And you guys, man.
Peace,
All right.
peace.